Chapter 409. As soon as he opened his mouth, it would be easy for him to make a mistake and give Su Qingsang something to use against him. He had already made a mistake once. He couldn't make another one. Su Qinghui remained silent. It was impossible for him to remain silent. Faced with Su Qingsang's aggressive attitude, he suddenly felt a little annoyed. I'll say it again. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're not Xiang Caiping's daughter, then who are you? Maybe Su Qingsang was just lying to him. If she wasn't Xiang Caiping's daughter, how could she be so close to Xiang Caiping after only a few months? It was clear that they had never lived together, and it wasn't like they grew up together. If she was sure, she would have left Xiang Caiping alone. Su Qingsang stared at his face. She wasn't surprised by his stubbornness and concealment. Su Qingsang sighed softly, but she had to say what she wanted to say next. Don't you find it strange? I know I'm not my mother's daughter, but I didn't tell her. Su Qinghui didn't say anything. He really didn't know his daughter well. Because even if my mother and I are not related by blood, I still see her as my mother in my heart. As Su Qingsang spoke, she lowered her head and glanced at herself. She was wearing the sweater that Xiang Caiping knitted and the necklace that Xiang Caiping gave her. The cured meat and sausages that Xiang Caiping bought for her were still hanging on the balcony of her house. She could still hear Xiang Caiping's gentle words and instructions every morning. These were the motherly love that she had never received since she was a child. She couldn't bear to. Even though she knew Xiang Caiping wasn't her mother, she couldn't bear to. She couldn't bear to hurt Xiang Caiping's heart. She had been so good to her. What if Xiang Caiping found out that the daughter she had been taking care of with all her heart wasn't her daughter? Su Qingsang didn't dare to think about it. She didn't even dare to gamble. She didn't want to hurt an innocent woman's heart. Can you tell me who I am? Who is my mother? Who is my father? Who gave birth to me? Who brought me into this world? Su Qingsang. Su Qinghui looked at his daughter and felt helpless for the first time. I'll say it again. Everything you said just now is nonsense. Su Qingsang looked at Su Qinghui coldly. She wasn't stupid. Su Qinghui's attitude was very problematic. Her brain worked very fast. Many details and possibilities flew through her mind one by one. The fact that I'm not Xiang Caiping's daughter is already set in stone. This is something you can't deny. If you really want proof, I can do a paternity test with my mother. Su Qingsang looked into Su Qinghui's eyes and said slowly, a paternity test can't be faked. Whether I'm Xiang Caiping's daughter or not, we'll know once we do the test. Su Qinghui's expression finally changed a little, but it was only for a moment. He quickly regained his composure. Su Qingsang had been staring at his face, trying not to miss any expression on his face. I really want to know now. If I'm not Xiang Caiping's daughter, am I your daughter? Really? Su Qinghui seemed to have finally regained his confidence. Su Qingsang, I said don't talk nonsense. If you're not my daughter, whose daughter are you? Did she think he had the leisure to help raise someone else's daughter? As soon as he said that, Su Qinghui immediately realized that he had said something wrong. Sure enough, he saw the corners of Su Qingsang's mouth rise slightly with some understanding. She seemed to have finally found out Su Qinghui's secret. I'm your daughter? Su Qingsang looked into Su Qinghui's eyes. Really? Are you sure? Su Qingsang, what kind of attitude is that? Su Qingsang didn't ask anymore. Su Qinghui's angry face made her believe what he said. Which man would like to help raise someone else's child? That meant that she must be Su Qinghui's daughter. She nodded and looked at Su Qinghui, her eyes clear. I'm your daughter. But I'm not Xiang Caiping's daughter. In other words, when my mom and auntie didn't know about it, there was a fourth party somewhere else? Su Qingsang. Have you said enough? Su Qinghui couldn't listen anymore. Who did Su Qingsang think he was? What fourth party? That was really unpleasant to hear. You betrayed my mother and auntie. You really don't love my mother. In fact, Su Qingsang could easily guess that Su Qinghui didn't love Xiang Caiping. If he really loved her, they would have been together back then. Don't say that the Li family forced him or anything. She had lived with old Master Li and Li Qianxue for a long time. To put it bluntly, if Su Qinghui didn't agree, could the Li family force him to go to the hall? Su Qingsang. Su Qinghui didn't know what else to say. He could only call Su Qingsang's name again. Shut up. What would a child like her know about adult affairs? Su Qingsang smiled, and that smile was meaningful. Does Auntie know? She had always thought that Su Qinghui was a bit of a scumbag. But now it seemed that Su Qinghui was really not an ordinary scumbag. On the one hand, he was having sex with Li Qianxue, on the other hand, he was constantly in contact with Xiang Kaiping, and on the other hand, there was another woman who came out of nowhere. It was the first time she knew that Su Qinghui could be so capable. Su Qingsang, shut up. Su Qinghui's expression was ugly. He took a step forward and almost lost his temper. Have you said enough? No. Su Qingsang was distracted, but she didn't intend to retreat at all. I haven't said enough. I have the right to know who my biological mother is, right? Su Qinghui was stunned for a moment. He suddenly turned his face away. That's not something you should worry about. Not something I should worry about? Su Qingsang wanted to laugh. Then what should I worry about? Dad, although you don't like me, I have called you Dad for more than 20 years. All I want now is a true would-I an answer. Can't you give it to me? There is no answer. You are thinking too much. If there is no answer, can I think that I am not your daughter? Su Qingsang. What kind of attitude is that? I told you what you just said is nonsense. If you are not my daughter, whose daughter are you? You said that I am your daughter. Then let me ask you, where is my mother? Where is my mother? Who is my mother? Chapter 410. No one. Su Qingsang had never thought that her relationship with Su Qinghui would become like this one day. But I just want to know the answer. Is it difficult? Or is it difficult to tell the identity of the person who gave birth to me? You, isn't it? If it wasn't for the fact that the person who gave birth to me had such a difficult identity for you to speak of, why would you still be so secretive at this point? Su Qinghui's face was red. He didn't answer Su Qingsang's question. Su Qingsang didn't expect him to give her an answer so easily. But she still had doubts in her heart. She didn't understand, and she wanted to know the answer. She couldn't help but take a step forward and look up at Su Qinghui. Dad, am I the product of a one-night stand? You. Su Qinghui was angry. He raised his hand and almost slapped Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang just raised her head and stared at him. Adi Qinrui's hand paused in the air for a few seconds, and finally retracted it. Mph. Su Qinghui snorted and left without looking back. This time, Su Qingsang didn't stop him. She stood there and stared blankly at the door that Su Qinghui had slammed shut. She was a little tired and weak. She took a step back and leaned against the desk. She had solved half of her doubts, but there was still the other half. Su Qinghui was her father. That should be true. What about her mother? What kind of life gave birth to her? Which woman did Su Qinghui have a close relationship with before? She couldn't figure it out. If he didn't say, no one would know. Who should she ask? If Su Qinghui didn't tell her the answer, who else could she ask? Her phone suddenly rang. She looked at Hu Jinyao's name and picked it up. Hu Jinyao returned to Rong City 2 days ago. It was almost the end of the year. Even as the president of Tianyu Group, he couldn't be too capricious. There were a lot of things to deal with in Rong City. Su Qingsang knew that he was very busy. Several times at night, she could still hear him typing on the keyboard. From time to time, she could hear Yang Wenchang reporting to him. Why are you calling me at this time? Su Qingsang looked at the time. Have you had lunch? Yes, I have. Hu Jinyao handed a document to Yang Wenchang and signaled him to leave with his eyes. Didn't you take a nap? Nope. Something came up and I couldn't sleep. Su Qingsang's mood was affected by Su Qinghui's reaction. What's wrong? Hu Jinyao immediately sensed that something was wrong in her voice. What happened? Hu Jinyao. Su Qingsang cleared her throat. I'm not an orphan. You asked your dad? He just came to see my mother. Su Qingsang repeated what Su Qinghui had said to Su Qingsang. Of course, she didn't mention that Su Qinghui was so angry that he almost wanted to hit her. You're saying that your father admitted that you're his daughter, but he didn't tell you who your mother was? Yes. And no matter how I asked, he wouldn't tell me. Su Qingsang was a little upset. Is my birth mother someone with a bad background? Otherwise, why would Su Qinghui act like this? Not necessarily. Hua Jinyao thought a little more than Su Qingsang. Is it possible that your birth mother's identity is not only not bad, but also shocking? What do you mean? Think about it. Your father was able to win Li Qinshue's favor, and he insisted on marrying her. It's hard to say that there aren't any rich ladies in Lin City who also liked your father. But they couldn't compete with Li Qianxue, so they simply gave up. Hua Jinyao said it casually, and Su Qingsang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Come on. You may not know what the Li family was like back then. Who was brave enough to compete with Li Qianxue for a man? Did they want to die? What else could they do? They can't explain it. If you were born to a woman outside, he could just tell Li Qianxue who gave birth to you and whose daughter you are. Anyway, you don't need to be afraid of the itch when there are so many lice. It's the same to find a woman outside, and it's also the same to find two women outside. Hua Jinyao. That's enough. Su Qingsang couldn't listen to it anymore. Although I think my father is quite a scumbag, why do I feel that your guess is even more unreliable than mine? How is it unreliable? Hua Jinyao thought it was completely possible. If you ask me, you might be the daughter of a rich family. But because you can't go against the Li family, your father is very secretive and refuses to say it directly. Hua Jinyao looked at the screen in front of him and said it casually. However, the idea of not going against the Li family flashed through his mind. A very absurd thought flashed through his mind. In fact, was it possible? Su Qingsang bit her lip and didn't answer Hua Jinyao's words. All right, you haven't told me why you called me at this time. After Hua Jinyao went to Rong City, he would call her every night, but this was the first time he called at this time. Thinking of this, Hua Jinyao's thoughts stopped thinking about Su Qinghui. There is something. Hua Jinyao's voice was very soft. Grandpa wants you to come to Rong City for the new year. I have already refused. But he said that he can send someone to pick you and Mom up in a private plane. He also said that if you are worried, he will hire the best medical staff. Why so suddenly? Is it because you have to go to Rong City for some reason? Hua Jinyao paused for a moment and thought of something. I may have forgotten to tell you. My grandpa has a brother and a sister. I also have a great uncle and a great aunt. They usually don't live in Rong City. Every year during the new year, my great uncle and great aunt will come over. My great aunt and great uncle know that I am married. They want to see you. If it were anyone else, Hua Jinyao naturally wouldn't care. But his great uncle, Hua Yangyuan, and great aunt, Hua Yangxiu, were not ordinary people. They were 2 generations older than him. It was normal for them to want to see the eldest granddaughter-in-law of the Hua family. This request was completely reasonable, not to mention that this was the first year of Su Qingsang's marriage. My grandpa said that he will arrange the best hospital. Please rest assured. He will make sure that our mother receives the best care. Did this mean that she had to go to Rong City with him? Hua Jinyao, do you have a lot of people in your family? Are you afraid? I am not afraid. I just feel that it is a little troublesome. She had already met Hua Jinyao's uncle and aunt, as well as his group of cousins last time. At that time, she thought that was all. But she didn't expect that there would be another great uncle and then another great aunt. In addition to the children of these great uncles and great aunt, how many relatives would there be? Chapter 411. Su Qinghui's parents left early. Moreover, Old Master Li was the most senior in their area. In the past, she had always been invisible. If the Li family had relatives, it was not her turn to greet them. Occasionally, she would bump into them, but the way they looked at her made her feel uncomfortable. To be honest, Su Qingsang didn't really like interacting with relatives. She liked simple relationships. The simpler, the better. Hua Jinyao suddenly fell silent. He thought of Su Qingsang's personality and how she had grown up. It's fine if you think it's troublesome. Hua Jinyao smiled. I'll tell Grandpa that you won't come back. Wouldn't that be inappropriate? Su Qingsang didn't like to deal with too many relatives, especially those she wasn't familiar with. However, she was not a fool. She knew about simple interpersonal relationships and the ways of the world. Hua Jinyao was the eldest grandson of the Hua family and was highly regarded by old Master Hua. However, it was not good for him to be too arrogant and completely ignore his relatives and friends. It's okay. If there was any pressure, he would naturally bear it. Even if Hua Jinyao was worried about his great-uncle and great-aunt, he didn't want Su Qingsang to be wronged. If you don't want to come here, then stay in Lin City. When our mother recovers, we'll bring her along. As for the relatives and friends he had to deal with during the new year, he would deal with them. Hua Jinyao. Was she making things difficult for him by being so willful? Don't worry, we're just getting started. What's the point of this year's new year? Next year, the year after that, we'll celebrate many new years together. Although she said that, she knew that Hua Jinyao was compromising. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang wanted to say thank you, but the words, thank you, were too light. Moreover, there was really no need to be overly courteous between them. I missed you. The corners of Hua Jinyao's mouth turned up. He was obviously in a much better mood. I missed you too. Go on with your work. I have to work. She heard footsteps outside the door. When I'm done, I'll come back to see you. Okay, Su Qingsang agreed. She hung up the phone and pressed it against her heart. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. It didn't matter whose daughter she was anymore. Because now, she had her mother and Hua Jinyao. As for who her birth mother was, she would slowly investigate it in the future. She believed that it was impossible for there to be no clues. What Hua Jinyao said just now actually made some sense. Su Qinghui couldn't tell Hua Jinyao about her biological mother. A thought flashed through Su Qingsang's mind, but it was too fast for her to grasp. Lin City was getting colder and colder. It was less than a week before the new year. Some units were already on holiday. There were no holidays in the hospital. The first day to the 7th day of the new year was a holiday. However, there were also doctors on duty every day. This year, Xiang Kaiping was hospitalized. Su Qingsang offered to let her work on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. There were fewer patients than usual during the Spring Festival. The people of China were particular about auspiciousness. Even if they were feeling unwell, they would wait until after the New Year. It wasn't that no one gave birth on the first day of the Lunar New Year, but it was a rare occurrence. Su Qingsang could catch her breath and rest for a while. The only regret was that Xiang Kaiping was hospitalized and could not go home. On New Year's Eve, Su Qingsang finished her work in the hospital early. After work, she asked Xiao Yu to look after her for a while and went home. Xiao Yu was the second caregiver she hired. Xiao Ning was going home for the new year. Xiao Yu was another caregiver Su Qingsang hired. She went home. Sister Lu was originally from Lin City. She knew that Su Qingsang was coming back, so she didn't leave. Sister Lu, thank you. This was arranged by Su Qingsang beforehand. She wanted Sister Lu to work hard for another day. Sister Lu didn't let her down. She made a table full of dumplings and cooked a few dishes for them. Thank you, Sister Lu. Su Qingsang took out the red packet she prepared in advance. Sister Lu, thank you for the past few months. Go home for the new year first. I still need you to come back to help me after the new year. Sister Lu didn't stand on ceremony. She took the red packet and went home. Su Qingsang packed up the dishes cooked by Sister Lu, packed the dumplings, and hurried back to the hospital. It was only 7 o'clock. She told Xiao Yu to go home first. Are you tired of lying down? Let's have dumplings today. Su Qingsang took out the dumplings. Watch TV first. I'll cook the dumplings right away. Look at you. Xiang Kaiping looked at Su Qingsang's busy figure. She was very touched but also very guilty. It's the new year, but you have to stay in the hospital with an old woman like me. Mom, if you say that again, I won't be happy. Su Qingsang put the water on the induction cooker to boil. She had specially brought this over. She could heat up food for Xiang Kaiping or something. As long as she didn't cook, the hospital would turn a blind eye to it. You're not old at all. If I go out with you now, people will definitely say that we're sisters. You're good at coaxing me. I'm not coaxing you. I'm telling the truth. Su Qingsang took out the vegetables and put them down. Wait for a while. I'll cook the dumplings and heat up the vegetables. Mom, Don't think it's lonely. It's just the two of us celebrating the new year. It's not lonely. It's not lonely. Compared to the past few decades, this was already the happiest year for her. Although it was a little lonely, it was already very good. I just don't think it's good that you don't go back to Rong City and spend the new year with Jinyao. Thinking of Hua Jinyao calling and saying that he couldn't come to Lin City because he had too many things to do, Xiang Kaiping felt a little regretful. Mom, look at what you're saying. Jinyao understands and said that he supports my decision. Why are you still talking about it? In fact, Su Qingsang wasn't without worry. However, Hua Jinyao repeatedly promised that nothing would happen, so she could only relax and focus on spending time with Xiang Kaiping. Su Qingsang didn't know how to cook, but she was still very agile. The water boiled. She put the dumplings into the pot, calculated the time, and put the vegetables in the microwave. In less than 20 minutes, the dumplings were cooked, and the vegetables were also heated. She placed the dishes on the small table above the hospital bed. Then, she shook Xiang Caiping's bed. Xiang Kaiping had recovered a lot during this period of time. Although she couldn't use force or exercise strenuously, she could still sit up normally. But getting up and sitting up normally was fine. Su Qingsang placed the dishes on the table and scooped a bowl of soup for her. Mom, you can't drink alcohol in your body, so use the soup as a substitute for alcohol. I wish our new year will be better and better. Okay. Xiang Kaiping nodded and picked up the bowl of soup. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Su Qingsang smiled. Although the two of them ate simple and stayed in a hospital ward, the atmosphere was quite good. Chapter 412. The restaurant was very quiet. No one was talking and no one was smiling. The atmosphere was quite depressing. Li Qianxue sat at the long dining table. The table full of steaming delicacies didn't make her look good at all. In the past, there were 5 people for the New Year's Eve dinner, but now there was 1 less person. How could Li Qianxue not be angry? She didn't expect Su Qinghui to be so cruel. He really didn't want Su Peijian to come back for the new year. Su Peijian was her first child, and she had spent the most effort on her. Unlike Su Yusen, when Su Peijian was born, her body was very weak, and her immune system was not good. It was the little daughter that she was afraid of dropping. It was the first time in more than 20 years that she didn't spend the new year with her. Li Qianxue's expression was ugly. She sat there without saying a word. Because of her expression, the atmosphere at the dining table was no longer festive at all. Mom. Su Yusen was the first one who couldn't stand the atmosphere. Let's eat. Li Qianxue didn't want to eat it. She really couldn't take this lying down. Su Qinghui, are you even human? You sent your daughter so far away for an outsider? You didn't even let her come back for the new year. Are you punishing her? You're punishing me. Su Yusen really didn't want to hear Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui quarrel. Don't talk so much. I'll be back in 2 days. Who knows? Li Qianxue glared at Su Qinghui. Your father sent your sister so far away. Who knows if he'll let her come back? Qianxue, old Master Li said, you're almost the same. It's the new year. How can you behave like this? Dad, you know it's Chinese New Year, but does he want me to have a good time? He won't let me have a good new year. Thinking about Su Peijian, Li Qianxue was so angry that she couldn't even eat. Peijian has never spent the new year alone. I don't know if she's eating now. Does it feel bad to be alone? That's enough. Old Master Li thought of the conditions he had discussed with Hua Jinyao. In fact, if it weren't for the fact that Su Qingsang and Xiang Kaiping were soft-hearted and willing to let it go, they would not have let it go. Su Peijian was not in the United States now, but in prison. However, he couldn't tell Li Qianxue about such a thing. She would never accept that her daughter would do such a thing. This was actually a good thing. Su Peijian could go abroad to calm down. He also knew the difference between them. Peijian is no longer a child. There are so many people out there. Don't they still have to live without you? Why couldn't Peijian do it? You don't have to say anything. Sit down and finish the meal. Dad, I'm old. I don't like to hear you guys make trouble, and I don't want to see you guys make trouble. If you want me to live a few more years, don't say any more. Li Qianxue gritted her teeth. No matter how angry she was, she could only let it go in front of old Master Li. However, the more she looked at Su Qinghui, the more disappointed she was. Especially when she found that he was sitting there without saying a word, she became even more furious. See, even if she messed with him like this, he didn't have any reaction. Sometimes she would rather Su Qinghui quarreled with her. But what about him? Most of the time, he just didn't say a word and looked at her like a clown. In fact, she had already discovered it a long time ago. This man was making her more and more unable to move. It was just that in the past, they had children and their father had scruples. But she didn't know when it started, but she had really become more and more powerless. She lowered her head. It was the new year, but the atmosphere at home was not good at all. Su Yusin didn't say anything. He didn't understand what was going on with this family. They were fine when they were young, but as they grew up, it became less and less like a family. And he also didn't know how to change this situation. It wasn't that Su Qinghui didn't see Li Qianshue's anger, it wasn't that he didn't see old Master Li's hidden disappointment, it wasn't that he didn't see the anticipation in Su Yusin's eyes. It was just that today, he really wasn't in the mood. After that day, he never went to the hospital again. On the one hand, Xiang Kaiping didn't want to see him, and on the other hand, he didn't want to see Su Qingsang. He used to think that he was the only one who knew the secret, but now Su Qingsang knew it. Su Qinghui never thought that the day would come when the secret would be found out. The revenge he imagined was when Li Qianxue grew old and found that everything was irreversible. But not now. Su Qinghui's mood during this period of time was quite complicated. If Su Qingsang knew, then Hu Jinyao must also know. Su Qingsang might not be able to guess at the moment, but with Hu Jinyao's intelligence, he might be able to guess Su Qingsang's real identity sooner or later. What would happen then? If one day, Su Qingsang's identity really came to light and the whole Lin city knew, what would happen? Su Qinghui didn't have the mood to think about anything else. He raised his head and his eyes fell directly on Li Qianshue's face. With old Master Li around, the anger on her face dissipated a lot, but she still wasn't happy. Her face was cold, and her facial features, which were brighter than normal people, looked quite cold at the moment. Speaking of which, Su Qinghui couldn't remember when was the last time he saw Li Qianxue happy. Sensing Su Qinghui's gaze, Li Qianxue raised her head and glanced at him. Her eyes were cold. What do you want to say? Don't worry. If you want to scold me, just scold me. It's the new year. For my father's sake, I won't argue with you. Su Qinghui felt a little suffocated for some reason. He lowered his head and glanced at the dishes on the table. Let's eat. His voice was too gentle. Li Qianxue glanced at him, thinking that he was going to make trouble again. Her eyes were a little more alert. Not only Li Qianxue was looking at him, but Su Yusin and old Master Li were also staring at him. Su Qinghui, who was very uncomfortable under their gazes, picked up the wine in front of him and toasted old Master Li. Dad, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Old Master Li raised his glass very politely. After toasting old Master Li, Su Qinghui clinked his glass with Su Yusin's. Study hard. After the new year, you will be a year older. In the future, the Su family will still rely on you to support it. I will. Happy New Year. Su Qinghui nodded and finally looked at Li Qianxue. He raised his glass and toasted in her direction. Happy New Year. This was a routine toast every year. Li Qianxue sat there without moving. She still hadn't swallowed the anger in her heart. Su Qinghui looked a little embarrassed, but he didn't take back his glass. Qianxue? Li Qianxue was stunned and couldn't help but glance at Su Qinghui. She had almost never heard Su Qinghui call her name. Every time he called her by her full name, and sometimes he didn't even have a name. Chapter 413. Li Qianxue couldn't be blamed for conspiring against Su Qinghui. She felt that she had seen through him. This man had no heart. Or maybe he had a heart, but his heart was not with her. It was with someone else. Thinking of her daughter, Li Qianshue's face darkened again. Su Qinghui, don't think that I will forgive you if you humble yourself. I won't talk to you until Peijin comes back. Qianxue. Old Master Li couldn't stand it anymore. Are you going to celebrate the new year or not? Li Qianxue was angry, but because of old Master Li she finally raised her glass. She didn't touch her glass with Su Qinghui's. She just raised it and took another sip. Su Qinghui didn't relax when he saw that. Instead, he felt even more depressed. Li Qianxue loved Su Peijian so much. If one day she found out that Su Peijian wasn't her daughter, it was the new year. It should be very lively. Su Qinghui suddenly felt a chill in his heart. After eating, Su Qingsang put away the bowls. Although she brought a lot of dishes, the portion was not big. She watched TV with Xiang Kaiping while eating. Most of it was done. She cleaned up the leftovers and washed the bowls. Then she sat down to watch the Spring Festival Gala with Xiang Kaiping. Su Qingsang rarely watched the Spring Festival Gala. It was rare for her to watch it with Xiang Kaiping. She didn't think it was as ugly as the people on the internet said. Xiang Kaiping looked at Su Qingsang with a faint smile on her face. Qingsang, I'm really happy to spend the new year with you. Me too. Su Qingsang looked at Xiang Kaiping. Finally, I'm not alone anymore. Sometimes I feel that I might be dreaming. Otherwise, how could I have such a good daughter like you? Su Qingsang smiled and said, Mom, what are you talking about? I'm right here. Do you still think that you're dreaming? Xiang Kaiping thought of what she had been through all these years. She looked a little emotional. I think I'm a person with little luck. That's why I often wonder if I'm lucky enough to have such a good daughter like you. Su Qingsang's heart skipped a beat. She held Xiang Caiping's hand and said uncomfortably, Mom, I'm not going to be happy if you say that again. Can I also say that I'm a lucky person? Otherwise, how could I have such a good mother like you? All right. Xiang Kaiping finally stopped talking. I won't talk about it anymore. It's the new year, let's talk about something happy. That's more like it. Su Qingsang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It just so happened that the Spring Festival Gala had reached the part of the skit. Xiang Kaiping focused on the TV. Xiang Kaiping was injured, and she was not young anymore. After looking at her for a while, she became very sleepy. Su Qingsang fetched some water, carefully helped her wash up, and let her sleep first. After Xiang Kaiping fell asleep, she quietly turned off the TV and went out with her phone to call Hu Jinyao. The phone rang for a while, but no one answered. Su Qingsang frowned and gently put the phone back into her pocket. She wanted to go back to the ward to sleep, but she was afraid that Hu Jinyao would call her back later. After hesitating for a while, Su Qingsang set the phone to vibrate and went back to the ward. Lying on the small bed in the ward, she couldn't fall asleep. What was Hu Jinyao doing? Why didn't he answer the phone? Last time, he said that many relatives were coming. Was it because there were too many relatives and he was busy dealing with them? Su Qingsang fell asleep while her mind was running wild. In a daze, she felt the phone under her pillow vibrate. She subconsciously reached out and saw the screen lit up. Su Qingsang was still not fully awake. Looking at Xiang Kaiping who was still sleeping, she picked up the phone, put on her coat, and went out to the corridor to answer the phone. Are you asleep? Hu Jinyao's voice came from the other end of the phone. Su Qingsang blinked. The cold wind in the corridor woke her up instantly. Yes. I'm asleep. You called me just now? Yes. What are you busy with? Nothing. In fact, the Hua family was really lively this year. This year, because of Hu Jinyao's wedding, old master Hua's younger brother, Hu Yangyuan, also returned to Rong City for the new year. As for old master Hua's younger sister, Hu Yangxiu, she was with her husband and would only be back in 2 days. Hu Yangyuan worked in the province. In the past, he would spend the new year in the same place where he worked. After all, with his status, there were countless people who came to visit him during the Lunar New Year. He used to be afraid of trouble, so he rarely came to Rong City. After all, old master Hu wouldn't be able to live in peace once he arrived. He had to entertain those people. Although Hu Yangyuan was a high-ranking official, he still respected old master Hu. This year was different. On the one hand, Hu Jinyao, the eldest grandson of the Hu family, was getting married. This was a joyous occasion. They hadn't been in Rong City before, so they hadn't been able to come over. Now, they were taking advantage of the new year to visit their grandnephew's wife. On the other hand, it was time for Hua Yangyuan to retire. He had completed the retirement procedures in the second half of the year and planned to return to Rong City to enjoy his retirement. As for his network in a province, he was not worried at all. He was different from Hua Mingguang and Hua Mingliang, who liked to do business. His eldest son, Hua Mingfan, had already finished his training. In a few years, he would be able to go further up the ladder. Since the young man had already gone up, he could naturally retire as an old man. He felt relaxed and energized. He wanted to see what Hua Jinyao's other half was like when he came to Rong City. However, when Hua Yangyuan arrived, he realized that Hua Jinyao's wife hadn't come back. Hua Yangyuan was fine. He had been in the officialdom for a long time and was used to hiding. However, Hua Mingliang's two sons weren't so good-tempered. "Granduncle, it's because you're too insignificant. Sister-in-law doesn't want to come back." "Isn't that so? If you ask me, Jinyao dotes on his wife too much. He's probably the first person in Rong City who doesn't spend the first year of his marriage with his in-laws." Hua Mingmei laughed exaggeratedly. "Why are you talking about this during the Lunar New Year? If you ask me, Jinyao's marriage might not be true. After all, Dad wants to have a great-grandson every day. Isn't it popular to rent a girlfriend for the Lunar New Year? If you can rent a girlfriend, can't you rent a wife too? Sister-in-law, speaking of this, I think you should really discipline your Jinyao. It would be a joke if people knew that a family like ours has to rent a wife." Hua Jinyao listened to his relative's words. He was expressionless and unmoved. Lu Tongjia's face darkened when she heard those words. Chapter 4:14. It was one thing for Hua Jinyao to marry a woman she didn't like. It was another thing for him to stay in Lin City every day for that woman. Now, he didn't even bring her back for the New Year. She was such an ignorant woman, but Hua Jinyao treated her like a treasure. Lu Tongjia wanted to lose her temper. But after thinking about it, she held it in. We shouldn't get involved in the affairs of young people. He can do whatever he wants. Lu Tongjia looked at Hua Mingmei. "It's the New Year. It's rare for you to come back. Let's talk about something happy." Hua Mingmei was led by Lu Tongjia to change the topic, but Hua Jinyao just felt bored. He looked at Lu Tongjia, not sure if he was disappointed or right. But this was Lu Tongjia. No matter how bad he was outside and how dissatisfied she would immediately put away her dissatisfaction and speak up for him when there were outsiders around. And he was like a bystander, enjoying a good performance. Hua Jinyao looked at the group of people expressionlessly. His family. His flesh and blood. Among them were his closest parents. But he didn't feel any parental love from his parents. He thought of Su Qingsang and Xiang Kaiping. Xiang Kaiping wasn't Su Qingsang's biological mother, but she treated Su Qingsang better than a real mother. All of a sudden he felt annoyed. He stood up and walked out. "Where are you going?" Lu Tongjia saw that her son was about to leave. "The whole family is here. Where are you going?" "Nowhere. I'm just going to make a phone call." Hua Jinyao turned around and glanced at Hua Mingmei. He seemed to be mocking her. "After all, my wife is rented. If I don't call her now, I'm afraid that someone will offer a higher price, and my wife will run away with someone else." Hua Jinyao left just like that. Hua Mingmei finally realized that she had been insulted by Hua Jinyao. Her face turned green. "Sister-in-law, look at him. Look at his attitude." Lu Tongjia didn't look happy either. Since when did she and Hua Jinyao become strangers? Their relationship was getting worse and worse. Hua Jinyao didn't want to repair it, and neither did she. There was clearly a better solution, but the mother and son were stuck in a deadlock. No one was willing to lower their heads first. Hua Mingmei still wanted to complain. However, seeing Lu Tongjia's expression, Su Qingsang knew that if she said more, she would be disliked. After thinking for a while, Su Qingsang gave up. Hua Jinyao shook his head and tried not to think about those annoying things. "Don't you want to stay up all night?" Su Qingsang's voice came through the phone gently, like a feather gently tickling his heart. "But I want to stay up with you on New Year's Eve." Staying with Su Qingsang and Xiang Kaiping made him feel more at home. Next year, we can definitely stay up together." "Yes." Hua Jinyao nodded. He was very happy with Su Qingsang's affirmation. By the way, is Mom asleep? Yes. I went to bed early. Su Qingsang looked out of the hospital. She could vaguely hear the sound of fireworks in the distance, but she couldn't see them from the corridor. She took her phone and walked towards the window at the end of the corridor. What about you? Have you eaten? Yes. The Hua family's New Year's Eve dinner this year was very lively because of Hua Yangyuan's visit. I ate too. Su Qingsang had already walked to the window. She could see that there were really people setting off fireworks not far away. What did you eat? It's just you and Mom. You didn't just eat casually, did you? Hua Jinyao had said that he would help her arrange everything, but she refused. Why would I? It's New Year's Eve. I asked Sister Lu to make dumplings. She also cooked a few side dishes. We even stir-fried the sausages that Mom made. It smells really good. I want to eat. Hua Jinyao had been away from Su Qingsang for 10 days. Although they could call each other every day, he didn't realize that he missed her very much until they were really apart. When you come back after New Year's, I'll ask Sister Lu to cook for you. I want to eat what you cook. Can I? Hua Jinyao took the opportunity to make a request. Hua Jinyao. Her cooking skills were actually very average. She could only cook a few simple vegetables. My cooking doesn't taste good. I don't care. Anyway, I want to eat what you cook. Just tell me if you'll cook for me or not. This person really had the potential to be a scoundrel. Yes. I'll cook for you, okay? That's what you said. Hua Jinyao's hazy mood was swept away at this moment. I'll be waiting. Su Qingsang wanted to laugh. She wasn't a chef, and she rarely had to cook. Hua Jinyao knew all this, but he could still look forward to her cooking with a calm face. Aren't you afraid that the food I cook will poison you to death? To die under a peony, I'd be a romantic even as a ghost. Not to mention dying under the delicacies of my wife? They hadn't seen each other for 10 days. This guy was good at being glib. Su Qingsang couldn't help but roll her eyes over the phone. All right. You go stay up with Grandpa and the others. Su Qingsang tightened her clothes. The window was a little windy. I'm going back to sleep. No. Hua Jinyao looked at the time. Talk with me for another 10 minutes. Talk for 10 minutes? What do you want? I just want to hear your voice. Hua Jinyao's voice came to Su Qingsang's ears through the phone. His voice was a little deep, and it rang softly beside her ear. Su Qingsang suddenly didn't feel hot. Far away in the sky, another firework exploded. She thought of the surprise Hua Jinyao prepared for her birthday. Although it was still a short time, she felt like everything happened yesterday. There was another loud bang, and the sky continued to explode with fireworks. Hua Jinyao's voice sounded at the same time. Happy New Year. Su Qingsang smiled. She finally knew why Hua Jinyao asked her to talk for another 10 minutes. The sound of fireworks kept going. Not only on Su Qingsang's side, but she could also faintly hear the sound of firecrackers on Hua Jinyao's side. Happy New Year. After midnight, it was a new year. Qingsang, I really want to see you soon. Me too. Su Qingsang heard the sound of fireworks around her. Several people were setting off fireworks in the square outside the hospital. Qingsang, do you have any wishes for the new year? I didn't come back to spend the new year with you. What do you want as a new year gift? I'll give it to you. Hua Jinyao's voice sounded with the sound of fireworks, but it was still very clear. No need. Su Qingsang shook her head. I don't lack anything. Then you can make a wish. Hua Jinyao said half jokingly and half seriously, What wish do you have? I'll help you fulfill it. Su Qingsang looked at the flying fireworks in the sky and didn't answer Hua Jinyao. Instead, she thought about what wish she had. Her wish was for the people she cared about to be well. She looked at the night sky for a while. She thought, if I really have to fulfill a wish. Chapter 4:15. Su Qingsang hoped to get that answer. It wasn't because she didn't like Xiang Kaiping, nor was it because she wanted to recognize her biological mother or anything else. She just suddenly thought of something after seeing Xiang Kaiping. If Xiang Kaiping had been lonely for more than 20 years, then was her biological mother even more lonely than Xiang Kaiping? Xiang Kaiping sold her house and went to the north to do business. She was resourceful and bold. But they both missed her so much. What about that woman? What about the woman who gave birth to her? Would she be living a bad life in a place she didn't know? Living a bad life? Su Qingsang didn't want to think like that, but she couldn't help it. In the first 20 years, she knew that maternal love was hopeless, so she didn't crave it. But in the past few months, she looked at Xiang Kaiping and had these thoughts. She thought whether she would recognize that woman in the end or not. She wanted to do something for her, to thank her for giving birth to her and bringing her into this world. As for the rest, she would think about it after she found the person. Honey. Hua Jinyao's voice sounded on the other side. Su Qingsang came back to her senses and smiled at the fireworks in the night sky. Hua Jinyao, can you really fulfill my wish? Of course. Hua Jinyao nodded. Even if you want the stars in the sky, I can pick one for you. You're coaxing me again. Su Qingsang didn't want to play along. Yes, I said I want the stars in the sky. Give me a meteorite later. You don't like it. Hua Jinyao sounded a little regretful. Don't underestimate meteorites. Many meteorites have research value. They're more expensive than diamonds. He was talking nonsense with a serious face again. Yes. They're more expensive than diamonds. Don't give me diamonds later. Just buy a few meteorites and put them in a room. Why don't you just open a meteorite museum and exhibit them directly? Isn't that a good idea? Honey, you really know me. Hua Jinyao casually leaned against the wall and looked at the same night sky. His eyes flickered. My dream was to open a museum, to exhibit something that no one else has seen. Over the phone, Hua Jinyao's eyes flashed with loneliness and nostalgia. How did the little boy, who had always wanted to open a museum, disappear? Su Qingsang listened to his nonsense and didn't believe a word of it. She almost lost her temper. What a great dream. Why didn't you become one in the end? Opening a museum is just spending money and not making money. I have to make money to support my wife first. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang finally found a loophole. When you were thinking about earning money to support your wife, I wasn't your wife yet, was I? That's right. Although you are not my wife, I had foresight at that time. He knew that he had to save his wife's money first. Look at how smart your husband is. Su Qingsang was amused by him. Hua Jinyao, it's a pity that you weren't invited to the Spring Festival Gala. You're so talkative, it would be a pity if you didn't become a comedian. That's true. They had no taste. How about I tell you next time? Hua Jinyao climbed up the pole, which made Su Qingsang really happy. Sure. In the future, you should learn more. When I go home, you can perform crosstalk for me. Sure. That's a deal. All right. Su Qingsang was defeated by him. It's getting late. Let's rest. Okay. Then go rest. Don't be too tired. If there's anything, call Xiao Yu and Xiao Ning. Hua Jinyao was about to hang up, but he suddenly called her wife. Yes. I originally booked a ticket for tomorrow and wanted to come over to accompany you. But my great-uncle is coming. Later, my great-aunt will also come over. I might not be able to come to Lin City until after the 3rd day of Chinese New Year. It's okay. You should do your own things. Su Qingsang was very understanding of Hua Jinyao on this point. Say hello to your great-uncle and great-aunt for me. I'll definitely go back next time. I know. My great-uncle is okay. He's easy to talk to, and after he retires, he will almost always be in Rong City. But my great-aunt doesn't come often. When you come back, we should pay her a visit. Hua Jinyao's great-aunt, Hua Yangxiu, was a commander and currently served in a military area. She lived with her husband in the military compound for many years and rarely came to Rong City. Su Qingsang didn't avoid it. Marrying Hua Jinyao meant that she had to accept his large family as relatives. Although she wasn't used to facing relatives at home, she would try her best to get along with them. My great-aunt is a good person. You'll know when you meet her. I trust you. Speaking of this, Su Qingsang also thought of something. By the way, there's something I want to ask you. What? Su Qingsang pursed her lips and thought of something. In the past, on the first day of every year, Although I didn't like it, I would still go to the Su family to wish old Master Li and my father a happy new year. Since she moved out of college, she would still go back to the Su family for the new year if she was outside. The year before last, she helped her colleagues on duty. This year, she still had to be on duty on the first day of the year, but she was a little hesitant. Hu Jinyao, I actually don't want to go to the Su family this year. She wasn't angry at Su Qinghui, but she didn't want to see him either. Don't go if you don't want to, Hu Jinyao said quite casually. Just stay in the hospital with Mom these 2 days. If you want to go to the Su family, I'll go with you when I come back. Su Qingsang didn't object. With Hu Jinyao there, she thought she would be much calmer and calmer. Wife, listen to me. With me here, don't do anything you don't want to do in the future. Don't see people you don't want to see. It's okay. What a willful thing to say. But living in this world, how could people really do as they pleased? Not to mention anything else, the Su family had raised her. No matter what reasons Su Qinghui had for telling the Li family that she was Xiang Caiping's daughter, it was a fact that he had raised her. Now, she hoped that Su Qinghui would one day tell her the answer, tell her who her biological mother was. Really? With me here, I won't let anything happen to you. Don't you trust me? I trust you. In fact, in the 6 months that she had been with Hu Jinyao, she really hadn't been wronged. It was almost 1 o'clock in the morning when Su Qingsang and Hu Jinyao talked on the phone. The fireworks were all gone, and the surroundings were quiet. Su Qingsang quietly returned to the ward. In the morning, Xiang Caiping woke up earlier than Su Qingsang. She was already awake when Su Qingsang got up. Morning. Su Qingsang quickly got up. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Xiang Caiping looked at Su Qingsang and waved at her. This is for you. She took out a red envelope from under her pillow. Happy New Year. Mom, what are you doing? New Year's money. I should have given it to you yesterday, but I forgot. Xiang Caiping said this with a look of self-blame on her face. Thank you, Mom. I'm already so old. I don't need this. But Su Qingsang was very touched. She grew up in the Su family, so she naturally had New Year's money. But how could the annual routine transfer of money compare to this red packet? Don't be so polite. Xiang Caiping smiled. I didn't give you any before, but I'll make it up to you in the future. When I have a grandson, I'll give him New Year's money every year. That's good. Take care of yourself. Let me thank you on his behalf. After breakfast, the first person to visit Xiang Caiping was Zhuo Hongchen. He was a doctor, so he didn't have to be so particular. The second one to arrive was Shi Mengwan. Su Qingsang didn't expect her to come so early. You child. Why did you come to the hospital on New Year's Eve? Xiang Caiping rebuked. You could have come back in a few days. Andy, it's fine. I don't believe in that. As Shi Mengwan spoke, she put down the gift in her hand. I have a good relationship with Qingsang. It's not a taboo. Good boy. They are all good kids. Someone came to visit Xiang Caiping, and the ward became much livelier. A few doctors who were familiar with Su Qingsang and were also assigned to be on duty had come over to see Xiang Caiping. In this way, there was a festive atmosphere. Su Qingsang had to be on duty and couldn't stay in the ward all the time. She was happy to have someone to accompany Xiang Caiping. When it was almost time for dinner, Su Qingsang handed over her work and hurried to the ward. To her surprise, she saw Su Qinghui again. He stood outside the ward, obviously wanting to go in, but for some reason, he stopped there. No matter how much Su Qingsang criticized Su Qinghui in her heart, she didn't show it on her face. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Su Qinghui said this unnaturally. He cleared his throat and looked in the direction of the ward. My mother is recovering well. After the new year, let the doctor check her again. Then she can be discharged. During this period of time, Su Qingsang and the caregivers had taken good care of Xiang Caiping. Her recovery was better than the doctor had expected. After leaving the hospital, she only needed to do some rehabilitation. After that, she would slowly return to normal, at least like a normal person. Su Qinghui had just said the word I when Su Qingsang interrupted him. I beg you, I'm begging you. Don't go in to see my mother. Xiang Kaiping absolutely didn't want to see Su Qinghui on New Year's Eve. That was definitely not a good thing. Su Qinghui's expression was a little ugly. Qingseng, I hope you remember that I am your father. I know you are my father. Su Qingseng nodded. So what? My mother doesn't want to see you. Can you be a little kinder and let my mother go? Can you? Su Qinghui's face turned green. He stared at Su Qingseng for a while and said, I just want to wish her a happy new year. No need. Su Qingseng really didn't think it was necessary. My mother can still have a good new year if she doesn't see you. If she sees you, I'm afraid she won't have a good new year. Chapter 416. How was that nonsense? Su Qingseng was speechless at the accusation. That's the truth. Su Qingseng didn't think she was wrong. My mother really doesn't want to see you. So, please. Su Qinghui had a lot of things to do on the first day of the new year. He had to go back to the Su family later, so he took some time to visit Xiang Kaiping. He didn't expect Su Qingseng to be so determined. She wouldn't even let him see Xiang Kaiping. Qingseng, you have no right to make decisions for your mother. Why don't I? I know very well that my mother doesn't want you. You know very well that you're not. Yes, I'm not. I didn't. Su Qingseng interrupted him. Then who did it? Dad, are you sure you want to argue with me in front of my mother's ward on the first day of the new year? Are you sure? Su Qinghui didn't say anything. He looked at the ward. Dad. Su Qingseng looked at Su Qinghui and suddenly said, I don't understand something. Can you explain it to me? Su Qinghui looked at her and didn't say anything. Since you don't love Auntie so much, why don't you divorce her? Su Qingseng raised her eyebrows. Her face, which looked like Su Qinghui's, was a bit confused. If she really didn't like Li Qianxue and couldn't forget Xiang Kaiping, why didn't she divorce him? What nonsense are you talking about? Su Qinghui's expression changed. I think it's nonsense. If you are really in so much pain and suffering, you can divorce Auntie and leave her. With your ability, even without the Li family, I believe you can still make a name for yourself. If you're single today, you're not married. I won't stop you from seeing my mother. But Dad, you're not. You're married. You have a wife and a family. Yet, you came here to see my mother. Don't you think you're too much? Su Qingseng wanted to say that it was too shameless. But the man standing was her father after all. She couldn't say it out loud. What do you know? You don't know anything at all. Of course, Su Qinghui believed in his ability. He also believed that even without the Li family, he could still make a name for himself. I don't understand. Maybe I'm too young. Su Qingseng sighed in her heart. I only know that, if it were me, I would never allow Hua Jinyao to have feelings for another woman while we are still married. I didn't. Su Qingseng didn't believe him at all, but he still said, I just want to know how your mother is doing. Ever since Su Peijian's incident, he had been feeling guilty and blamed himself. He did feel some regret, but that emotion was suppressed by him. My mother is doing very well. You don't have to come. Speaking of this, Su Qingseng sighed deeply. Dad, I know it's hard for you to believe me, but I still have to tell you that even if I'm not my mother's biological daughter, I will take good care of her. Don't worry. After saying that, Su Qingseng turned around and went back to the ward to see Kaiping. Su Qinghui looked at Su Qingsang's back. His steps were firm and steady. When she spoke just now, her tone was calm and determined. He knew that what she said was true. His daughter had grown up in a place where he couldn't see her. Su Qinghui looked at Su Qingsang's back as she walked away. Suddenly, he felt even more guilty than he had ever felt for Kaiping. Su Qinghui turned around and slowed down his steps. He looked outside. It was the first day of the new year, and the weather was good. The sun shone on him, making him feel warm. Su Qinghui didn't feel warm, and his face showed a blank expression. When he walked out of the hospital, he saw a familiar figure. Li Qianxue. He didn't know when she came. She stood at the entrance of the hospital from afar and stared at him coldly. Su Qinghui suddenly felt guilty. He stood there and didn't move. There were two people, one at the entrance of the hospital building and the other at the gate of the hospital wall. They looked at each other across the lawn of the hospital. He saw Li Qianxue curl up the corners of her mouth mockingly. She looked at him coldly and sharply, but also with disappointment and understanding. He thought that Li Qianxue would rush over, question him, and scold him. In the end, she didn't. She just looked at him, then turned around, got in the car, and drove away. Su Qinghui raised his foot, but in the end he stopped. The sunshine of the new year suddenly became a little dazzling. The next day, Su Qingsang made an appointment with a few doctors to visit the homes of a few hospital leaders. Then, she went to Shi Mengwan's house. As for the Su family, she planned to visit them on the third day of the new year. Hua Jinyao would come back on the third day, but she didn't know when he would arrive. If he came back in the afternoon, then she would go to the Su family alone. When Su Qingsang saw Hua Jinyao in the ward, she was shocked. "Why are you back?" Hua Jinyao nodded with a smile. "What's wrong? Are you unhappy?" Su Qingsang shook her head. Suddenly, she took 2 steps forward and hugged Hua Jinyao. "You're so bad. I thought you wouldn't arrive until tomorrow. I missed you, so I came back early." Those social engagements were really boring. Especially this year, Hua Yangyuan came. God knew how many people came to visit him for the new year. He didn't have the patience for these things. After flying to his Grey Tant's house early in the morning, he had lunch and directly booked a plane ticket to Lin City. He hugged her a little tightly. They had been separated for more than 10 days. He really missed her. Su Qingsang felt the same. Smelling the familiar scent on his body, she inexplicably had an urge to cry. Her eyes were red, and the tip of her nose was sour. It didn't matter that she had spent the new year alone in the past, but this year, because of Hua Jinyao, she felt that she missed him very much and wanted him to be by her side. "I missed you too." Su Qingsang blinked her eyes and suppressed her excitement. She rubbed her face in Hua Jinyao's arms. Hua Jinyao held her up, lowered his head, and kissed the top of her head. Su Qingsang was still feeling affectionate, but she instantly came back to herself when she heard the laughter next to her. Only then did she realize that she was in the ward. Not only was Xiang Kaiping in the ward, but little Yu was also in the ward. Her face immediately turned red, and she quickly moved away from Hua Jinyao's arms with a beautiful blush on her face. She glared at Hua Jinyao. Her gaze looked fierce, but in fact, it was not lethal at all. Hua Jinyao even pulled her back into his arms. "Mom." He brought Su Qingsang to the bedside. "Happy New Year." "Good. Xiang Kaiping was really happy to see her son-in-law. "It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Mom." Hua Jinyao turned around to pick up the gifts on the ground that he had put down because he saw Su Qingsang. "I brought you some things. These will be useful in the future." Su Qingsang looked at the pile of gift boxes and packaging. She was a little touched by Hua Jinyao's kindness. He knew that Xiang Kaiping was not her biological mother, but he still did this. It was really rare. "You child. Look at you. It's good that you're back. Why did you buy me things?" Xiang Kaiping said with some blame. She had saved some money in her early years. She really didn't want her daughter and son-in-law to spend too much on her. Just keep them. These are all good things. They are all internal supplies. Ordinary people can't buy them even if they want to." Hua Jinyao looked indifferent. "I've asked the doctor. These are good for your recovery." Xiang Kaiping knew that this son-in-law was capable, and that these things were nothing to him, but she was very touched by his kindness. She didn't refuse anymore and asked Su Qingsang to put the things away. In her heart, she decided that after she was discharged from the hospital, she must recover as soon as possible. She couldn't be a burden to Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang. With Hua Jinyao around, Xiang Kaiping was much more energetic. She pulled Hua Jinyao and talked for a long time. Hua Jinyao was not impatient. He accompanied Xiang Kaiping patiently and listened to her ramble for a long time. In the end, little Yu winked at Xiang Kaiping, and she remembered. She hadn't seen her daughter and son-in-law for more than 10 days. "But don't worry about me, an old woman." Xiang Kaiping pretended to be annoyed and said, "Go back. Go do what you need to do." The young couple hasn't seen each other for more than 10 days. If you want to be tired of each other, go do it. Mom. Su Qingsang blushed. What are you talking about? Did I say something wrong? I'll accompany you today. I don't want you to accompany me. I have little you. Hurry up and go. Xiang Kaiping waved her hand. The noise is giving me a headache. Okay. Su Qingsang wanted to hide, but how could she hide from Hua Jinyao? Soon, Su Qingsang, who was dressed as a bunny girl, was successfully captured by Hua Jinyao in his arms. That night, apart from her own voice and Hua Jinyao's voice, Su Qingsang could only hear the sound of the anklet on her ankle. Kept ringing, ringing, ringing. On the third day of the new year, the weather was not as sunny as the previous 2 days. It was a little gloomy. When Su Qingsang got up in the morning, she was a little embarrassed when she thought of the nonsense she had with Hua Jinyao the day before. Hua Jinyao had endured it for too long these days, hadn't he? He was so heavy-handed. Not at all. Su Qingsang patted her face and quickly calmed herself down. She still had a task today. She got up and told Hua Jinyao that she was going to visit the Su family today. Hua Jinyao didn't object. Anyway, I've prepared the gift. Let's go directly. Su Qingsang nodded. She really wasn't very enthusiastic about going to the Su family. Seeing this, Hua Jinyao rubbed her head and messed up her hair. If you really don't want to go, don't go. It's okay. How can I not go? Su Qingsang blinked. It's okay. We'll come back soon. Since Hua Jinyao said that he had prepared the gift, Su Qingsang naturally believed him. When they arrived at the Su family, Old Master Li had already gotten up and was playing chess with Su Yusin. Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue hadn't gotten up yet. Seeing Hua Jinyao, Old Master Li was a little emotional. This outstanding young man could be said to be a member of his family, but he didn't marry Su Peijian. Instead, he married Su Qingsang. It would be a lie to say that he didn't regret it. However, everything had its own fate. It couldn't be forced. Old Master, Happy New Year. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao wished Old Master Li and Su Yusin each other. Happy New Year. Old Master Li looked at Hua Jinyao. You're here at the right time. Come and play chess with me. Yusin, go upstairs and call your father down. Chapter 417. In fact, the atmosphere at home had been a little gloomy for the past 2 days. Perhaps it was because Su Peijian wasn't in the country. Li Qianshue's expression had been ugly the whole time. She didn't look like she was celebrating the new year. Instead, she looked like someone owed her money. Even Old Master Li could see that something was wrong with her. However, since Li Qianxue didn't say anything, Old Master Li couldn't say anything. Young people had their own things to do. As parents, it was not appropriate for them to interfere too much. Old Master Li had been worried about Li Qianxue for a long time. He was getting on in years and really didn't want to worry about his children anymore. Li Qianxue had a headache early in the morning. She hid in her room and was unwilling to go out. In the morning, 2 families came to pay their New Year's greetings. The other party's status was lower than the Su family's, so she didn't need to entertain them much. After seeing them off, she went back to sleep. However, when she saw Su Qinghui, she looked a little annoyed. She was annoyed to see Su Qinghui. No, not annoyed. His heart was cold. Her heart was so cold that she didn't want to be with this man anymore. Su Qinghui had just come out of the bathroom. When he saw Li Qianxue, he was stunned for a moment. Recently, the relationship between the two of them had been particularly tense. Ever since Li Qianxue bumped into him at the hospital on the first day of the new year, Li Qianxue hadn't said a word to him. It was supposed to be the new year, a lively time, but the two of them didn't say a word at home. Even when there were guests in the house, Li Qianxue could still smile at them, but when it came to him, she immediately looked at him coldly. At night, the two of them slept on one side of the bed. However, for the past 2 days, Li Qianxue had taken out a blanket and slept on the other side of the bed. Just like now, when she returned to her room to rest, she saw that his gaze was fixed on the bed. She turned around and walked in the other direction. There was a custom-made Italian chaise longue in the room. Li Qianxue took a blanket from the closet and laid on it, planning to take another nap. Before he could fall asleep, he heard the sound of a car outside the courtyard. She was a little annoyed. That was how it was during the New Year. There were a lot of people who came to visit, and there was no time for peace. In the past, she didn't feel tired dealing with these people and things. Not long after, Su Yusun came up. Mom? Dad? Su Yusun looked at his parents in the room and sighed deeply in his heart. No one didn't want their family to be harmonious, and no one didn't want their parents to love each other. But at some point, Su Yusun knew that this was just an extravagant hope. Big sister, brother-in-law is here. Zhenren Su Pei was not in the country, so she naturally referred to Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao. Li Qianxue had already woken up when Su Yusun entered the room. She glanced at Su Qinghui and found that he was sitting still. She smiled sarcastically. What? Your most precious daughter is here to pay you a New Year's visit. Aren't you going to hurry downstairs and entertain her? Su Qinghui didn't look too good. Li Qianxue glanced at Su Yusun and said, I have a headache. I want to sleep a little longer. After saying this, she lay down again. Su Yusun felt a little helpless and couldn't help but look at Su Qinghui. No matter how much he didn't want to see Su Qingsang, he had to go downstairs. Downstairs, Hua Jinyao and Old Master Li were playing chess. Su Qingsang was sitting next to them and watching. She didn't know much about chess, but she could see that the game was in a stalemate. However, seeing Old Master Li frowning and thinking carefully, while Hua Jinyao seemed to be unconcerned, Su Qingsang felt that Hua Jinyao seemed to be more relaxed. When she saw Su Qinghui again, Su Qingsang's feelings were very complicated. In her heart, Su Qinghui was obviously a scumbag, but such a scumbag was her father. Dad. Hua Jinyao also stopped playing chess and stood up to pay a New Year's visit to Su Qinghui. Su Qinghui nodded slightly, not showing much enthusiasm on his face. Su Qingsang wasn't surprised by his attitude at all. If Su Qinghui was warm and considerate to her one day, it would really be a strange thing. Hua Jinyao went back to play chess with Old Master Li. After a few rounds, Old Master Li admitted defeat. The new generation excels the old. The younger generation really surpasses the older one. Old Master Li's face was full of admiration. He really appreciated Hua Jinyao as a young man. You flatter me, Old Master. Hua Jinyao smiled faintly. Speaking of which, my grandfather loves to play chess. I just play with him a lot. Hua Jinyao was playing chess with Old Master Li, while Su Yusun was chatting with Su Qingsang. Su Qinghui, on the other hand, became the extra one. He didn't seem to care. No one knew what he was thinking, but he was a little lost in thought. When it was almost lunchtime, Li Qianxue came downstairs. She had slept, and her complexion was a little better. Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang stood up to pay a New Year's visit to her. Li Qianxue's reaction was very cold. Su Qingsang had long been used to Li Qianxue's attitude, so she wasn't sad. Su Yusun looked at Su Qingsang, his eyes a little apologetic. Su Qingsang smiled at him, not taking it seriously. Li Qianxue noticed her son's gaze, and the expression on her face became more and more unpleasant. Her husband was on Su Qingsang's side, and now even her son was on Su Qingsang's side. She felt that there was a lump in her heart. She couldn't go up or down. This kind of feeling was so uncomfortable that she left before the others finished eating. Old Master Li felt helpless about his daughter's increasingly abnormal behavior. Fortunately, Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang didn't care about this matter. After all, it wasn't someone they cared about, so their attitude didn't matter. After eating, Su Qingsang was going to leave. However, when she saw Su Qinghui, she couldn't help but want to ask who her biological mother was. Hua Jinyao seemed to know what she was thinking. He held her hand and said, I'll go. Su Qingsang bit her lip and looked at Hua Jinyao in surprise. Hua Jinyao? Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. After saying this, Hua Jinyao asked Su Qingsang to accompany Old Master Li and Su Yusun to chat. He used business as an excuse to call Su Qinghui into the study. Su Qinghui didn't understand what business it was that needed to be discussed on such a big day like the New Year. However, Hua Jinyao had gone to Rong City before, so there might be a new project or something else. The two of them entered the study, and the servant left after serving 2 cups of tea. Su Qinghui looked at Hua Jinyao, waiting for him to take the initiative to speak. Hua Jinyao picked up the tea in front of him and took a sip, then clicked his tongue and said, "Isn't this Longjing tea before the rain? It's a bit of a waste to make it like this." Su Qinghui didn't speak. Old Master Li liked tea, so he asked someone to make some. As for how to make it, he actually didn't like tea very much, and he usually didn't pay much attention to it. However, when Old Master Li was free, he would make his own tea. "You just said that business? It's not business." Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qinghui. He could roughly tell that Su Qinghui had been in a strange state recently. "Actually, I have something personal to tell you." Chapter 418. Seeing that Su Qinghui was playing dumb, Hua Jinyao went straight to the point. "Who is Qingsang's biological mother?" Su Qinghui was stunned. He didn't expect Hua Jinyao to ask this question. Or maybe he had guessed it, but he didn't expect Hua Jinyao to say it directly. "What nonsense are you talking about? Qingsang's biological mother is Kai Ping." Hua Jinyao curled his lips, and the smile on his face was sarcastic. He put down the teacup in his hand, sat up straight, and looked at Su Qinghui. "Is it interesting?" Hua Jinyao. Su Qinghui closed his eyes and suppressed the trace of displeasure in his heart. "Is it interesting? How can you say such things in front of me? Who are you to question me?" "Qingsang's husband," Hua Jinyao said confidently. "I don't want to see Qingsang worry, so please tell me, Dad, who is Qingsang's biological mother?" "No one." This was the last thing Su Qinghui wanted to talk about. "I'll only say it once, no one." "Really?" Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qinghui and nodded hard. "Actually, Dad, have you ever thought that the more you try to hide it, the more we think you're guilty?" Hua Jinyao. Su Qinghui was exasperated. "I'm your father-in-law. You'd better watch your attitude. Of course I know you're my father-in-law. But do you think what you've done is what a qualified father should be?" When Hua Jinyao said this, his voice became quite rude. "All these years, have you cared for Qingsang? All these years, have you cared for her feelings? You can't even give her an answer. What makes you think that you can be called a qualified father-in-law?" Su Qinghui didn't say anything. He knew these things. But he just forced himself not to think about it. "This is between me and Qingsang. It has nothing to do with you. I've also said that I'm Qingsang's husband. Her business is my business." I'll say it again. I don't have an answer to give you. You don't have an answer because you have a guilty conscience. Because you want to protect the woman you really love. Hua Jinyao's eyes were sharp. His deep eyes were like sharp swords, pointing straight at Su Qinghui's heart. "Am I right?" "Nonsense." Su Qinghui's face turned green. "Who gave you the right to make such wild guesses? Is this nonsense?" Hua Jinyao sneered and stared at Su Qinghui's face. "You said that you love Xiang Kaiping, but you are so cold to her daughter. To put it bluntly, it was because Qingsang was not Xiang Caiping's daughter. But whose daughter was she? Who is the other woman?" Hua Jinyao thought of his previous deduction. "I figured it out later. That woman should have an extraordinary family background. But it was still not enough to contend against the Li clan. In order to protect her, you treated her daughter as Xiang Caiping's daughter and raised her by your side. Right?" "No." Su Qinghui's defense was weak. "Admit it. Your expression betrays you. Why did that woman give birth to Qingsang and not want her? Could it be that, to a large extent, her identity did not allow her to acknowledge this child? Otherwise, why would you have such an attitude?" When Hua Jinyao said this, he vaguely felt that something didn't seem to make sense. However, this result was the closest to the answer after his discussion with Su Qingsang. "Hua Jinyao," I said, "don't talk nonsense. There is no such thing." Su Qinghui had strong self-control for so many years, but at this time, he could not help but be affected by Hua Jinyao's words. "I guessed it right, so you are angry?" Hua Jinyao sat up straight. "Why don't you be more honest and tell me who Qingsang's biological mother is? I can promise you. We just want to know the answer. After we know, we will not destroy the other party's original life." Su Qinghui's expression was very ugly. He stared at Hua Jinyao's face as if he wanted to burn a hole in his body. "Have you said enough? If you have, please get out." In fact, have you ever thought that it is useless for you to hide it? After all, we can actually find out who the women you were in contact with back then. It just takes a little time. Huijinyao. Su Chenghui stood up and slammed the table. I'll say it again. Get out. Get out. Huijinyao did not stand up because of his anger. The expression on his face did not even change at all. He just looked at Su Chenghui with a faint mockery in his eyes. You didn't tell me because you don't believe that I can find out? Su Chenghui did not want to listen to him anymore, nor did he want to endure it anymore. He stood up and walked in the direction of the door. Then, he quickly pulled open the door of the study. Huijinyao, get out. After saying this, his gaze suddenly fell on Li Qianxue, who was standing outside the door. She stood there, expressionless. He didn't know if she had just arrived or if she had been standing there for a long time. Su Chenghui's face suddenly changed like a palette that had been knocked over. It turned green, red, white, and black. Li Qianxue's expression did not change at all. She only looked at Huijinyao. Huijinyao, what did you just say? Huijinyao narrowed his eyes and looked at Li Qianxue. He was not sure what she would do if she knew about this. Huijinyao. Li Qianxue did not look at Su Chenghui at all. She just stared at Huijinyao. What did you just say? Say it again. There was no answer. There was no sound. The study was extremely quiet. Li Qianxue took a step forward and entered the study. Su Chenghui subconsciously raised his hand, instinctively wanting to stop Li Qianxue. However, she had already walked in and stood in front of Huijinyao. Huijinyao, speak. Auntie. Huijinyao frowned slightly. He seemed to be a little dissatisfied that he did not notice that someone was approaching and eavesdropping outside the door. It was true that he wanted to help Su Qingsang find her biological mother, but he did not want to destroy Su Qingsang's peaceful life. Su Qingsang is not Xiang Caiping's child? Then whose child is it? Li Qianxue had only heard a general idea, but she still needed more information. Tell me, who is that woman? Auntie, I don't know either. Looking at Li Qianxue's gloomy face, Huijinyao inexplicably felt a headache. Things seemed to be out of control. You don't know? Li Qianxue's eyes were as sharp as knives. After glancing at his face, she quickly turned and looked at Su Chenghui behind her. He doesn't know? You don't know either? Chapter 419. The atmosphere in the study was almost strange. Su Chenghui didn't move. He just watched Li Qianxue walk toward him step by step and then stand in front of him. Who is that woman? Her face was calm, without sorrow or joy. She had always thought that the person Su Chenghui loved was Xiang Caiping. He had not forgotten about her for so many years. However, other than her and Xiang Caiping, Su Chenghui had another woman. What did that mean? Li Qianxue doubted herself more than once. She doubted that her love for so many years was just a joke. However, she refused to give up. She kept thinking that it would be fine as long as she could endure it. She always thought that as long as she got through it, until Su Chenghui gave up and stopped thinking about that woman, he would always see the good in her. However, she didn't expect that she wouldn't be able to last until Su Chenghui gave up and forgot about that woman. It turned out that Su Chenghui had another woman. Su Chenghui looked at the fierce look in Li Qianxue's eyes and felt guilty again. He could only try to calm down. There's no such woman. You heard wrong. I'm not deaf. Li Qianxue looked at Su Chenghui. The sarcasm in her eyes was obvious. And you didn't close the door properly. Her voice was very calm, but one could faintly hear the anger contained in it. Su Chenghui lowered his head and avoided eye contact with Li Qianxue. There are no other women. You really misheard me. This was the first time Su Chenghui had spoken to Li Qianxue in such a low voice. His voice was full of helplessness. However, Li Qianxue only pretended to be guilty and tried to cover up. She took a step forward and stood in front of Su Chenghui. Her body was less than 10 centimeters away from him. She stared into his eyes. Su Chenghui. Who was Su Qingsang's mother? Who else could it be if not Xiang Caiping? No one. No one? Are you reproducing asexually? You conjured a child out of thin air? Li Qianxue was utterly disappointed in Su Chenghui. For more than 20 years, she had loved him until she was powerless and exhausted. Now, she was desperate and disappointed. He was truly disappointed. I told you. There are no other women. Li Qianxue stared at Su Qinghui's face. She closed her eyes and asked again, "Who is Su Qingsang's mother? Tell me." Hua Jinyao didn't expect things to turn out like this. As the son-in-law of Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui, it was obviously not suitable for him to stay any longer. He glanced at Su Qinghui and then at Li Qianxue. Although the two of them did not speak, the atmosphere was tense. He didn't even say goodbye to Su Qinghui and quietly left the study. Downstairs, Su Qingsang was still waiting for him to give her an answer. Hua Jinyao looked at her and shook his head almost imperceptibly. Su Qingsang understood. The two of them said goodbye to old Master Li and left. Su Yusen looked at Hua Jinyao's face and instinctively told him that something bad had happened. In the study, Li Qianxue was still questioning Su Qinghui. However, no matter what, Su Qinghui would not admit it, let alone tell Li Qianxue the answer. I said, there is no other woman. You heard wrong. Li Qianxue didn't want to ask anymore. She raised her hand and almost slapped him in the face. Su Qinghui's face was slapped away by her. He looked at Li Qianxue and moved his lips, but he didn't say a word. Li Qianxue suddenly smiled. She looked at Su Qinghui and smiled while nodding heavily. Su Qinghui, let's get a divorce. This was the second time Li Qianxue mentioned the word divorce. Su Qinghui was stunned for a moment and instinctively refused. I don't agree. It doesn't matter whether you agree or not. Li Qianxue stopped smiling. Her voice was full of exhaustion. It's me now. I have decided to divorce you. Su Qinghui, listen carefully. I want to divorce you. I don't agree. Su Qinghui's voice finally sounded normal. He looked at Li Qianxue with a determined expression. Don't think about it. It's impossible for me to divorce you. Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue gritted her teeth and looked at Su Qinghui. Don't be too shameless. What makes you think that after you betrayed me again and again, I can still be with you without any grudge? I didn't betray you. Su Qinghui knew that Li Qianxue wouldn't believe anything he said at this time, but it was the truth. You didn't betray me? Then where did Su Qingsang come from? Not only did you betray me, but you also betrayed Xiang Kaiping. Su Qinghui, I always thought that you loved Xiang Kaiping. It's been more than 20 years. You pretended to be affectionate, tortured me, and ignored me. I really thought that you were so noble. What a gentleman. So what happened? It turned out that he was just a scumbag, and she spent half of her life for a scumbag. Su Qinghui, I'll say it again. I want a divorce. I'm going to tell my father now. Li Qianxue turned around and was about to leave, but Su Qinghui grabbed her arm. Li Qianxue was caught off guard, and her body was surrounded by Su Qinghui. He looked at the determination on Li Qianxue's face and inexplicably panicked. In order to hide his emotions, Su Qinghui said without thinking, Li Qianxue, I won't divorce you. Why did you get to marry me when you wanted to, and now divorce me when you want to? Dream on. Besides, are you sure you want a divorce now? Su Qinghui looked at her face and said casually, who has been in charge of the Li group all these years? Tell me. What's more, your father's health isn't very good. The doctor said that he can't be agitated. Are you sure you want to tell your father? Su Qinghui, you're despicable. Li Qianxue was furious. She almost wanted to slap Su Qinghui again. Yes, I'm despicable. I also know that I'm despicable. But this despicable man, didn't you want him for yourself? Didn't you love him? Admit it, Li Qianxue. He provoked me first. It was you. He restrained her hand. Su Qinghui was a man. How could she really succeed again? So, I'm going to spend the rest of my life to atone for forcing you to marry me, right? Li Qianxue's voice was already out of control. She stared at Su Qinghui in disbelief. So this man actually thought that way? Su Qinghui wanted to say that he didn't mean that, but he thought of Su Qingsang and Su Peijian. He couldn't argue. In the end, his voice lowered. Li Qianxue, you can make a bigger fuss. Let's see if your father and Yusen will be moved. Su Qinghui knew very well where Li Qianshue's bottom line was. Li Qianxue pushed him hard and took a step back. Su Qinghui, I was really blind back then. After saying this, she didn't say anything else. She turned around and left without looking back. She didn't even look at him out of the corner of her eye. After she left, Su Qinghui took a few steps back weakly and leaned against the desk as if all the strength in his body had been sucked out. His back was covered in a layer of cold sweat. He didn't care about Li Qianshue's anger. He only knew that the secret between Su Peijian and Su Qingsang was temporarily kept. However, he didn't know how long this secret could be kept. Sitting in the car, Su Qingsang looked at Hu Jinyao. He told Su Qingsang about the conversation in the study just now. Su Qingsang frowned as she thought about Su Qinghui's words. He said there's no that woman? He really knows how to cover up his scummy behavior. Even though Su Qinghui was her biological father, Su Qingsang had some resentment towards him now. How could there be such a person? He dared to do it but didn't dare to admit it. Hu Jinyao didn't say anything. He thought about everything that had happened since Xiang Kaiping appeared. He felt that something was wrong. Su Qingsang was still guessing the identity of her biological mother. Seeing that Hu Jinyao didn't say anything, she stopped talking. It was the new year, and she was a little depressed. Because of Su Qinghui's hiding and Su Qinghui's scum. Hu Jinyao, do you think we might have guessed wrong? Is it possible that my mother isn't actually a rich young lady? Is it possible that she's just an ordinary person with a mediocre status? Hu Jinyao's thoughts were interrupted by her. He turned his head and looked at her. What do you mean? For example, a prostitute or Su Qingsang didn't know why she thought that way. I thought about it. I don't think my father could have sex with a third woman in that situation. The most likely reason is that he wanted Auntie Hua and my mother at the same time, so he had an accident when he was out. The so-called accident was actually something like a one-night stand. Su Qingsang didn't want to think about her father in that way, but the situation in front of her was the most likely reason. Then my mother's child happened to have an accident. So my dad brought me back to the Su family? There was a red light in front of them. After Su Qingsang said this possibility, she turned to look at Hu Jinyao, waiting for his approval. Hu Jinyao frowned slightly. He was still thinking about the series of things that had happened since Su Qingsang and Xiang Kaiping met. He always felt that Su Qingsang's background wasn't as simple as she thought. There must be more to it. On the surface, there seemed to be no problem with Su Qingsang's background, but many details couldn't stand up to scrutiny. He always felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Until he heard about Su Qingsang's identity. Those 4 words seemed to be like a bolt of lightning, cutting through all the problems that he couldn't figure out. He suddenly turned to look at Su Qingsang. His eyes were burning as he stared at Su Qingsang's face. He thought of Su Peijian. She didn't look like Su Qinghui or Li Qianxue. But Su Yusin looked very much like Su Qinghui. Looking at Su Qingsang, if he looked carefully, Su Qingsang and Su Yusin looked more like a brother and sister when they stood together. They both perfectly inherited the advantages of Su Qinghui's facial features. Especially Su Qingsang. If she was the complete female version of Su Qinghui, her facial features would be at most elegant. However, Su Qingsang's eyebrows and eyes were like Su Qinghui's, but the shape of her face was Li Qianxue. Hu Jinyao? What's wrong? The light in front of them was already green, and the horns behind them kept blaring. Su Qingsang looked at him with some worry. Do you think I'm wrong? If not, then so be it. Anyway, it's fine now. You're not wrong. But we guessed wrong. Chapter 420. What? The loudspeaker behind her was still blaring. Su Qingsang was a little anxious. Hu Jinyao, don't think about it. Hurry up and drive. Hu Jinyao started the car and drove away from the intersection, but his voice was much firmer than before. Honey, I think I might know who your birth mother is. Li Qianxue. Right, why didn't he think of that? It was entirely possible. What did you say? Su Qingsang's eyes widened. For a moment, she looked at Hu Jinyao as if he were a lunatic. Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. Hu Jinyao was unprecedentedly calm. It's your father who's crazy. Su Qingsang thought about what he had just said. That's impossible. Honey, listen to me. Hua Jinyao stopped the car by the side of the road. He turned to look at her with burning eyes. Look, it's entirely possible. Looking at Su Qingsang's incredulous face, Hua Jinyao put his hands on her shoulders. First, your birthdays are only 1 day apart from Su Peijian's. Yes, Su Qingsang knew that, but that didn't mean that she was, look. If your father really hated Li Qianxue that much back then, if he hates her so much for forcing him to marry her, he will definitely think of revenge. He had known Su Qinghui for a long time, so he had more or less seen through him. He had the ability, and he didn't particularly care about external things like face. However, there was an air of arrogance about him. He had seen the direction of the Li Group's business in the past few years. Su Qinghui disdained anything that crossed the line. This was also the reason why the Chou family was able to suppress the Su family even though they were clearly inferior to them in the past. That was because Qiu Yanba's father was more ruthless than Su Qinghui. But Su Qinghui was different. He had a bottom line and a sense of pride. He wasn't willing to use some methods that he didn't think were worth mentioning. Because of this, 2 very important projects of the Li Corporation were later taken away by their enemies. That was why Su Qinghui was willing to marry into the Qiu family. But how? Your father won't do anything that's against the law. She was already married. With a child. Start with the company? In the beginning, he didn't have that ability, and when he had the ability, he didn't bother to do it. If you were your father, what would you do? Su Qingsang blinked, thinking about what Hua Jinyao had said. She understood the first sentence he said. But every sentence put together, she was unwilling to believe it. I don't believe it. This was impossible. If her biological mother was Li Qianxue, then what about Su Peijian? Who is Su Peijian? That's my point. Hua Jinyao thought about the information he had gathered from his initial investigation. I think your mother, Xiang Kaiping, had a premature birth and gave birth to you half a month early. However, Li Qianxue also gave birth at this time. I think something might have happened to Li Qianxue when she was giving birth. At the very least, old Master Li was definitely not in Lin City. Because of these unexpected events, your father decided to do something very daring. You and Su Peijian will be swapped. Su Qingsang was speechless. No, that's impossible. Is my father crazy? He is crazy. Hua Jinyao thought about Su Qinghui's mentality from a man's perspective. Think about it. Li Qianxue stole Xiang Caiping's man, but your father doesn't love her. In order to take revenge on her, in order not to break the law. So it's very likely that he did this. Su Qingsang still couldn't accept it. It was too crazy. He took you away and gave Su Peijian to Li Qianxue, so that Li Qianxue would treat the woman she hated as her own child. Think about it, what could be more ruthless than this? Su Qingsang's mind was blank. She didn't want to believe it. But every word Hua Jinyao said made her unable to refute. Afraid that Su Qingsang still didn't understand, Hua Jinyao said directly, give Xiang Caiping's child to Li Qianxue and raise Li Qianxue's child as an illegitimate daughter. For Li Qianxue, this is the greatest and deepest revenge. Su Qingsang lost the ability to speak. Her voice was stuck in her throat, and she couldn't say a word. I can even guess that after Xiang Kaiping came back, she had a conflict with Su Peijian. Su Qinghui rushed here not to stand up for Su Peijian, but to tell her the reason. Su Qingsang recalled what Su Qinghui said in the hospital that day. Do you know, actually, Qingsang isn't what? At that time, she only guessed that she wasn't Xiang Caiping's child. But she never thought that she might be Li Qianxue's child. Who in their right mind would do such a thing? Who would think of such a way? He must have wanted to tell Xiang Kaiping more than once, but he resisted in the end. But thinking about Su Qinghui she saw today, he had been denying that he had other women. At this moment, Hua Jinyao believed him. Su Qinghui really didn't have other women. In fact, Su Qinghui had an excellent reputation in the circle. He was self-disciplined, calm, elegant, and never messed around outside. He would go home early when he had social engagements. Many people outside said that Li Qianxue was amazing. No wonder her surname was Li. Her husband was loyal to her. Now it seemed that this request was not another means of revenge for Su Qinghui. For your father, it's not time for him to enjoy the fruits of victory yet. He won't tell Xiang Kaiping and Li Qianxue about the truth, because he wants to wait until the end. Su Qingsang stared at Hu Jinyao with her eyes wide open. She understood everything he wanted to say, but she still didn't understand the last point. It's not the time to say it. Hu Jinyao thought about the situation today. Su Qinghui was still holding back, so for him, it was definitely not the time to say it. He might want to wait until the day Li Qianxue gets old. Hu Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang and said another possibility. Su Peijian got the Li family's property. Everything of the Li family will eventually fall into Su Peijian's hands. That will be the time for your father to tell the truth. Su Qingsang listened to all of Hu Jinyao's speculation and analysis. She stared at him with her eyes wide open, and her whole body was in a state of emptiness. Is he crazy? He's not crazy. Hu Jinyao gave Su Qingsang a very definite answer. I think not only is he not crazy, but he is also sober and knows what he is doing. Su Qingsang pursed her lips into a straight line. She looked at the street in the distance, a little confused. It had been sunny for a few days before the new year, but it was cloudy this morning. At this time, the sky was completely gloomy, as if it was going to rain. She turned her face to look at Hu Jinyao. If what you said is true, if I am really Li Qianshue's daughter, then Su Peijian is, yes. Hu Jinyao nodded and gave her a definite answer. Su Qingsang felt weak. She leaned against the car seat and was lost in thought again. She thought of the two conflicts between Xiang Kaiping and Su Peijian. She also thought of Xiang Kaiping making things difficult for Su Qingsang to protect her. If what Hu Jinyao said was true, then wasn't Xiang Kaiping making things difficult for her own daughter to protect Li Qianshue's daughter? She instinctively stood on Xiang Caiping's side, but then she thought of Li Qianxue. What did Li Qianxue do wrong? When Xiang Kaiping left, it could be said that she gave up her daughter. But what about Li Qianxue? She had taken care of Su Peijian since she was born. Take good care of her. Give her the best of everything. If Li Qianxue found out that the daughter she had loved and taken care of for so many years was not her biological daughter, what would she do? What about Xiang Kaiping? Although Xiang Kaiping had not taken care of her daughter for more than 20 years. But if she found out that the daughter she had been protecting was Li Qianshue's child, what would she do? Su Qingsang didn't dare to think about it. She didn't speak, and Hu Jinyao was not in a hurry. He kept looking at her, as if waiting for her decision. Hu Jinyao, what should I do? It's up to you. Hu Jinyao took her hand into his own and wrapped it tightly around his own. When he found that her hand was cold, he frowned and said, if you want to acknowledge Li Qianxue, let's go back to the Su family now and tell them the truth. That's it? What else? Hu Jinyao rubbed her palm and supported her. As long as you want it, it's that simple. But Su Qingsang couldn't convince herself. She couldn't accept it so easily and believe it. What if I'm wrong? There's a 90% chance. Hu Jinyao had just thought about everything. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this was the correct answer. But, Su Qingsang was still a little hesitant. What if Li Qianxue doesn't believe it, or Su Qinghui doesn't admit it? It's simple. Hu Jinyao could see that Su Qingsang didn't believe the answer herself. If Su Qinghui doesn't admit it, we'll do a paternity test. A paternity test was the best proof of the result. They all knew that. As long as the paternity test was out, Su Qinghui couldn't deny it even if he wanted to. Then, what if the test results show that I'm not Li Qianshue's daughter? That doesn't matter. Hu Jinyao squeezed her delicate hand. You're already so big anyway. You don't need Li Qianxue or Su Qinghui. If they want to admit it, they can admit it. If they don't want to admit it, they won't lose anything. But he was sure and confident. Su Qingsang and Su Peijian were more than 90% likely to be swapped. He made it sound simple, but Su Qingsang knew that things weren't that simple. Well, even if it's true, even if everything you said is true, what about my mother? What about my mother? The mother she was talking about was naturally Kai Ping. Speaking of Xiang Kai Ping, even Hua Jinyao fell silent. To put it bluntly, he and Su Qingsang were the same. They didn't care much about the Su family. They had the relationship they had now just to maintain their appearances. But Xiang Kai Ping was different. She sincerely regarded Su Qingsang as her own daughter. She also sincerely wanted to make up for the lost mother-daughter relationship in the past. Chapter 421. Could she accept it? What would she do? Would Xiang Kai Ping accept Su Peijian as her daughter, or would she be disappointed that Su Qingsang wasn't her daughter? The atmosphere in the car was very quiet. Su Qingsang thought about how Xiang Kai Ping had taken care of her for the past few months. She really couldn't calmly acknowledge Li Qianxue. Firstly, after so many years, they hadn't developed any feelings for each other. The second reason was for Xiang Kai Ping. Xiang Kai Ping was still lying on the hospital bed, almost paralyzed. By the way, Su Peijian was also the one who caused Xiang Kai Ping to end up like this. If one day he really revealed the truth and Xiang Kai Ping found out that the person who hurt her was her own daughter, how sad would she be? All of these were the reasons why Su Qingsang didn't want to expose them. She could ignore Su Chenghui, Li Qianxue, and the feelings of the other members of the Su family. However, after spending a few months together, she had no choice but to pay attention to Kai Ping. She couldn't bear to hurt Xiang Kai Ping. She couldn't do it. Hua Jinyao was still looking at her, waiting for her answer. Su Qingsang sighed in her heart. What other answer could there be? What other answer did he need? Let's go. Let's go to the hospital. Hua Jinyao wasn't surprised by Su Qingsang's words at all. If she could reconcile with Li Qianxue so easily, she wouldn't be Su Qingsang. All right, let's go to the hospital. Hua Jinyao. The moment he started the car, Su Qingsang suddenly spoke. He stopped to look at her and saw that she was still staring at the road ahead. Let's put an end to this matter. Wife. My mother is Xiang Kai Ping. There's no Li Qianxue or anyone else. There's no revenge and there's no conspiracy. Hua Jinyao was stunned for a moment. He was not surprised that Su Qingsang had made this decision. However, he also knew that this was a difficult decision. But she still did it, and in such a short period of time. Wife, do you really know what you're giving up? Everything of the Li family, everything of the Su family. She was an honorable young lady. Not to mention anything else, because of the recent cooperation with the Tianyu region, the Li clan was now faintly superior to the Qiu clan. The stock price kept rising, and so did the company's market value. Su Qingsang gave up without a second thought. I know. Su Qingsang turned to look at him. I know what I've given up. I have no regrets. Without Li Qianxue, she still had Xiang Kai Ping. Without the Li family, she still had Hua Jinyao. She didn't need too many things like money. Yes or no, it was all the same to her. Hua Jinyao reached out and pulled her into his arms. He hugged her tightly. Let's go. Otherwise, it would be too late. Mom will be worried if she keeps waiting. All right. Hua Jinyao let go of her hand and went to start the car. Su Qingsang looked at the scenery outside the car window and thought of a scene from her childhood. Su Peijian was held by Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue kept calling her baby. At that time, she longed for it very much. She really wanted to let Li Qianxue hug her like that. However, Li Qianxue gave her a cold look and put on a completely different expression than when she was facing Su Peijian. She said, I'm not your mother. At that time, she was sad, but she didn't hate Li Qianxue at all. The older she grew, the more she understood, and the less she hated Li Qianxue. She even faintly sympathized with her. No woman would be willing to raise a child that her husband had with someone else, not to mention that this child was under her nose every day. She had never hated Li Qianxue. Even when she came to the hospital to cause trouble for her last time, she didn't. She tried to understand Li Qianxue's situation again and empathize with her hard work. Wasn't this a kind of mother-daughter relationship? Su Qingsang's head hurt a little. She knew that no matter how much she doubted Hua Jinyao's words on the surface, deep down, she had already believed it. Because she was with Xiang Kai Ping, no matter how she looked for or how she got along with her. She was touched and grateful, but she didn't have the kind of intimacy that came from the depths of her heart. However, she once had that kind of feeling for Li Qianxue. When she was young, she always wanted to get close to Li Qianxue for no reason. Even if Li Qianxue kept giving her a cold shoulder, she always tried her best. At that time, Su Peijian's sarcastic words were indeed true to her. She used to really want Li Qianxue to give her some care and some love. In the past, she only thought that she envied Su Peijian for having a mother, but why didn't she think about asking for Su Qinghui's attention? Su Qingsang closed her eyes and thought of another thing. Since Li Qianxue didn't know, she would let her not know. She would let her treat Su Peijian as her own daughter and continue like this. Otherwise, if she knew, she would probably break down. As for Su Qinghui, she naturally had a way to make him shut up and not say anything. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Su Qingsang shook her head. When she met Hu Jinyao's somewhat worried gaze, she sighed faintly and said, Hu Jinyao, I think, since Li Qianxue doesn't know, let her not know. Since she had decided to let everything go on like this, she would even hide it from Li Qianxue. It's also a good choice to let her live her life without knowing anything. This was a repayment to Li Qianxue for bringing her into this world. Hu Jinyao understood what she meant. While driving, he reached out and held Su Qingsang's hand. Thank you, Hu Jinyao. The word, thank you, is too light. Why don't you give yourself to me tonight as a thank you gift? Okay. Su Qingsang didn't refuse. She also needed Hu Jinyao. She needed something to make her forget the shock she had experienced today. When they arrived at the hospital, Su Qingsang and Hu Jinyao didn't reveal anything. In fact, it was the easiest thing to hide from Xiang Kaiping. As usual, they talked and laughed to make Xiang Kaiping happy. When she was tired and wanted to sleep, they said goodbye and went home. Xiang Caiping's body was recovering well. After the Lantern Festival, she could be discharged from the hospital. At that time, she only needed to come back for regular checkups and do good rehabilitation. Su Qingsang got into the car, and the smile on her face was gone. She was in a daze all the way home. When she entered the door, she finally reached out and hugged Hu Jinyao. Hu Jinyao, I feel terrible. She could let everything stay the way it was. She could not recognize Li Qianxue and could continue to treat Xiang Kaiping as her own mother. But all of this couldn't hide the pain and discomfort in her heart. Hu Jinyao didn't say anything. He held her slender body tightly in his arms. If you want to cry, you can cry. But you can't cry when you're really upset. Su Qingsang closed her eyes. She felt her eyes were wet and hot, but she didn't want to cry. How could he do this? How could he do this? If he didn't want me, he could have asked her to abort me. If he really wanted to take revenge, he could have not married her. She didn't say it clearly, but Hu Jinyao knew that she was referring to Li Qianxue. But he married her, and then he treated her like this. We can hide everything. But I really suddenly feel that. She's so pitiful. Some things couldn't stand thinking about. When Su Qingsang was with Xiang Kaiping, she could still maintain a smile on her face. But when they separated, she only felt terrible. He's so cruel. Su Qingsang tightened her grip on Hu Jinyao's shirt. She used a lot of force. How could he be so cruel? Hu Jinyao didn't know what he could say. In fact, he also looked down on Su Qinghui and couldn't forgive him for what he did. Didn't he think that if she found out one day, she would break down and go crazy? Or he knew it but he still did it. Hu Jinyao, I didn't hate him before. But now I really hate him. Really. She didn't mind that Su Qinghui didn't like her, ignored her, or treated her coldly. She just thought that she was unlucky. But if she was really Li Qianxue's daughter, then Su Qinghui was really cruel. His actions were the most vicious revenge in the world for a proud person like Li Qianxue. I really hate him. Hu Jinyao, do you understand? I hate him. Hu Jinyao pressed his chin against the top of her head and kissed her hair. Don't think about it. Really. Don't think about it. If she finds out, what will she do? This was not only because Li Qianxue was her biological mother, but also because he couldn't bear to stand in the shoes of a woman. Honey, don't think about it. Hu Jinyao lowered his head to kiss her. Haven't you already decided? Then don't think about it. Hu Jingyao? Su Qingsang raised her head and put her arms around his neck. Kiss me. She didn't want to think about it anymore. She wanted to forget everything that had happened before. She wanted to forget everything. Hu Jingyao picked her up and gave her a deep kiss. At the same time, he carried her back to the room. It was an extremely passionate night. Su Qingsang forgot everything in this entanglement. No matter how deep the night was, it couldn't stop the arrival of dawn. When Su Qingsang opened her eyes, she felt her body ache. At the same time, everything surged into her heart like a tide. She looked at the time. It was almost 10 o'clock. She was on duty on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. She didn't need to go to work today. Normally, she should be up to see Xiang Kaiping now. But Su Qingsang suddenly had an urge to see Li Qianxue. She quickly got up, washed up, and walked out of the room. Hu Jinyao was already out. There was a note left by him on the dining table. There was breakfast prepared by him in the kitchen. She just needed to heat it up and eat it. Su Qingsang hurriedly ate a few mouthfuls, then took her bag and went out. In fact, she didn't know what she could do when she saw Li Qianxue. Chapter 422. Su Qingsang suddenly stopped when the car arrived at the Su family's villa. So what if he saw it? So what if it was confirmed? It had already been decided. Looking at it again would only increase her sadness. What if it wasn't true? What if all of Hu Jinyao's deductions were wrong? Thinking of this, Su Qingsang wanted to turn around and leave quickly. Sister? Su Yusin suddenly appeared. He stood by the car and knocked on Su Qingsang's window. Why are you here? Su Qingsang bit her lip and couldn't speak for a long time. What do you want? Are you going home? Su Yusin was referring to the Su mansion. Su Qingsang shook her head instinctively. When she saw Su Yusin's surprised look, she nodded again. Yes, I'm here for you. For me? Su Yusin raised his eyebrows. There was obvious confusion in his eyes. What do you want? It's nothing. Su Qingsang smiled awkwardly. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw her bag on the passenger seat, and her eyes lit up. Last time I went to Japan, I bought you a gift. I didn't have a chance to give it to you. Yesterday I forgot. So, as she spoke, she took out the gift from her bag, got out of the car, and put it in Su Yusin's hand. You came to give this? Su Yusin looked at the box in his hand. He was obviously surprised. Su Qingsang nodded. She rarely lied, but this time she had to. For a moment, she looked a little uncomfortable. Su Yusin didn't think about it. He didn't open the gift. Looking at the box, he felt very touched. Thank you, sister. You're welcome. Su Qingsang glanced at him and said casually, Why are you alone? Where's Dad? He went out to give New Year's greetings. Then where's Auntie? Su Qingsang asked more casually. It sounded like she was just chatting. She went to the United States. Ah? Went to the United States? Su Qingsang was stunned, obviously a little surprised. Su Yusin pointed to the car not far behind him, which had just driven into the Su mansion. I just drove my mother to the airport. She went to the United States to see my sister. He was referring to Su Peijian, of course. Su Qingsang nodded. She didn't know what to feel. Su Peijian, how is she? It's all right. Actually, it wasn't good at all. How good could it be to be alone outside and not be able to come back for the new year? Su Qingsang didn't know what to say. Wasn't Su Qinghui the one to blame for Su Peijian's poor life? She couldn't say it out loud. Auntie, didn't you go there before the new year? Su Yusin was a little surprised that Su Qingsang had asked about Li Qianxue twice today. However, he didn't think too much about it. I don't know. After you left yesterday, my mom started packing. Then he said he wanted to go to America to see my sister. In fact, Su Yusin didn't know what had happened. However, he could guess that it had something to do with Su Qinghui. However, as a child, it was not appropriate for him to question Su Qinghui. Su Qinghui went to someone else's house early in the morning to wish them a happy new year. He had actually thought about going to the United States with Li Qianxue to look for Su Peijian. After all, he was still on vacation. However, he didn't expect that Li Qianxue didn't want to take him. Instead, she asked him to stay at home to accompany old Master Li. I see. Su Qingsang didn't say anything. She probably knew why Li Qianxue was in a bad mood yesterday. She had always thought that Su Qinghui just didn't love her. She didn't expect that he had another woman. This should be a relatively big blow to Li Qianxue, right? Sister? Seeing that Su Qingsang was distracted again, Su Yusin couldn't help but ask again. Su Qingsang smiled. It's okay. I was just chatting. Since Dad and Auntie are not at home, I'll leave first. You're not staying for dinner? No need. Su Qingsang turned to leave. Before she left, she looked at Su Yusin and suddenly stopped. Yusin, you're going to take the college entrance examination this year, right? Yes. Good luck. Don't worry. I will. His grades had always been good. He didn't have to worry about his studies. That's good. Su Qingsang looked at Su Yusin. When she met his somewhat inexplicable gaze, she uncomfortably took a step back. Then I'll leave first. As she said this, her eyes suddenly looked at the top of Su Yusin's head. What is this? What? Lower your head. There seems to be something dirty on your head. When Su Qingsang spoke, she motioned for Su Yusin to lower his head. Su Yusin didn't think much about it. There were children outside setting off firecrackers just now. He might have bumped into it. The moment he lowered his head, Su Qingsang reached out and pinched a hair in front of her and gently pulled it. She pinched the hair tightly and smiled at Su Yusin. I saw wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't hurt you, did I? No. Even though Su Yusin felt that this sister was strange today, for the sake of her coming to pray, he didn't want to care about anything. It's good that you're fine. Su Qingsang waved her hand. Then I'll leave first. Okay. Su Qingsang got in the car and watched Su Yusin wave at her, then go forward to the Su house. She pinched the strand of hair and carefully took out a piece of tissue from her bag to wrap it up. Su Qingsang closed her eyes. There were some things, even if she didn't want to say it, she hoped that there would be a result. Su Qingsang was about to start the car when she suddenly thought of something. Even if Su Yusin and she were not siblings of the same father and mother, half of their DNA would be similar. So this couldn't be counted. What should she do? Closing her eyes, Su Qingsang still drove the car into the Su house. Old Master Li and Su Yusin were already sitting in the living room talking. They were talking about Li Qianshue's trip to the United States. They were a little surprised to see Su Qingsang enter the door. Su Qingsang endured the awkwardness and greeted them. She used the excuse that she had something to take from her room upstairs and turned to go upstairs. Su Yusin really felt that Su Qingsang was not normal today, so he wanted to follow her to see, but old Master Li asked about Li Qianxue again. Su Yusin was a little slow, but Su Qingsang took the opportunity to go upstairs and go to Su Qinghui and Li Qianshue's room. It wasn't the 7th day of the Lunar New Year, so there weren't many servants in the Su family. Most of them were on vacation. She didn't have to worry about not being able to find Li Qianshue's hair. On Su Qinghui and Li Qianshue's pillows, she successfully found 2 strands of hair, one long and one short. Carefully arranging the 2 strands of hair, Su Qingsang quickly left the room. She went to Su Qinghui's study again. At this time, she was really grateful to Su Qinghui for being so at ease with his family. The door wasn't locked at all. She also found Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui's medical reports in the bottom drawer of the study. Su Qinghui was type B, but Li Qianxue was type AB. Su Qingsang also saw the other 2 medical reports. One was Su Yusin's, who was also type AB. The other was Su Peijian's, who was type B. Putting the 4 medical reports back in the drawer, Su Qingsang felt that even if she didn't do a paternity test now, she would be able to guess the result. Su Qinghui was type B, and Xiang Kaiping was type O. Children born from the combination of type B and type O blood. They were either type O or type B. Therefore, Xiang Kaiping couldn't give birth to her, but she could give birth to Su Peijian. Su Peijian was type B, which happened to be the same blood type as Su Qinghui. This was also the reason why Li Qianxue didn't suspect or suspect anything for so many years. And Su Yusin was type AB. Just like her, he had inherited Li Qianshue's blood type. Su Qingsang finished reading and left in a hurry. At the stairs, she happened to meet Su Yusin, who came up to see what was wrong with her. Sister, did you find what you were looking for? Do you need help? No need. Su Qingsang shook her head. I didn't find it. Maybe I remembered wrongly. Is it very important? Do you want me to help you? No need. Su Qingsang shook her head. You stay with the old master. I have something to do, so I have to go. Su Yusin only felt that Su Qingsang was acting strange today. He didn't think too much about it. Finally, he thought of another thing. Could it be that Su Qingsang was wronged by Hua Jinyao? She wanted to ask her family to stand up for her, but was embarrassed? Thinking about it carefully, it was really possible. Su Yusin thought about it and decided to find a chance to ask. Even if Li Qianxue didn't recognize Su Qingsang, he had already regarded her as his sister. Su Qingsang didn't know that Su Yusin had a big misunderstanding because of her strangeness. She was anxious to go for the new year after she got the hair, so the paternity test center naturally didn't work. But Su Qingsang had special channels. She used to have a medical school classmate who ended up working at the paternity test center. She called that classmate, then hurriedly took the strand of hair and went to find her classmate. A paternity test didn't necessarily have to be a father and son, or a mother and daughter. If the two people doing the test on Tiananmen Square were brothers and sisters, it could also be tested. When she went to the paternity test center, her classmate was already there. Su Qingsang gave the hair of Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui to her classmate. Finally, she pulled out 2 hairs from her own hair. She put them together with Su Qinghui's and Li Qianxue's. Please do a paternity test for me. What's wrong? Her friend took the 2 hairs and began to note her information. After so many years, you suddenly found out that you were picked up by your parents. Are you a little tadpole looking for its mother today? Su Qingsang wasn't in the mood to fool around with her. This name is my father. This is my aunt. Now that she said that she is my mother, I'm actually willing to believe them, but I still want to make sure. So, please. Okay, I know what to do. Her classmate marked it and glanced at Su Qingsang. Come back in a week to get the results. That long? Her classmate laughed. I'm just kidding. Other people need a week. You can come back tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Su Qingsang's heart didn't relax because of her classmate's words. Instead, she felt that her heart couldn't calm down. Chapter 423. The time of the day passed quickly and slowly at the same time. Su Qingsang was peeling an apple for Xiang Kaiping in the ward. Xiang Kaiping watched her and spoke carefully. Qingsang, have you been too tired lately? Su Qingsang paused for a moment. She peeled the apple and looked at Xiang Kaiping. How come? I'm not tired. I don't have many days to rest. I'm a little conflicted. I know you've been working hard. Actually, you can take advantage of these few days to rest. Xiang Kaiping really felt that her daughter and son-in-law were too tired to take care of her every day. You can go out with Hua Jinyao when you're free. You don't have to worry about me. With Xiao Ning and Xiao Yu taking turns to take care of her, she didn't feel that she needed her daughter's company. I'm fine. I'm not tired. Su Qingsang cut the apple into slices, picked up a piece with a toothpick, and put it in front of Xiang Kaiping. Don't think so much. Xiang Kaiping took the apple. There was a smile and gratitude in her eyes. Su Qingsang looked at Xiang Kaiping with a complicated gaze. She knew very well that Su Qinghui's craziness was most likely real. She and Su Peijian might really have been switched by the dragon and phoenix. How could Xiang Kaiping not think too much? She wasn't the one who raised Su Qingsang. The mother and daughter met halfway. To be serious, it could be said that they had no feelings. But now that Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao had done so much for her, Xiang Kaiping was already very touched. Naturally, she wouldn't ask for more. Su Qingsang knew what she was thinking just by looking at her. Do you think that I recognized you as my daughter halfway through? Are you afraid that I don't want to take care of you? How could that be? Xiang Kaiping smiled a little awkwardly. But in fact, Su Qingsang could see that she might really think that way. Su Qingsang didn't say anything else after that. Xiang Kaiping looked at her as if she didn't understand why she wanted to say something. What's wrong? No. Su Qingsang shook her head. I just often think that I'm so lucky. I picked up such a good mother so easily. Tell me, what if you're mistaken? I'm not your daughter. Su Qingsang didn't finish her sentence. She said it half-jokingly, which was much easier to cover up than if she said it seriously. What nonsense are you talking about? Xiang Kaiping was unhappy to hear this. In my heart, you are my daughter. My biological daughter. Mom. Xiang Caiping's words put Su Qingsang at ease. She squeezed Xiang Caiping's palm and said, Yes. That was right. I'm your biological daughter. The mother and daughter started to laugh. Xiao Ning saw this scene when she came in. She also relaxed a lot. In the morning, Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang when he got up. Do you need me to go with you? When Su Qingsang came back yesterday, she told him that she was going to do a paternity test. Although he didn't think it was necessary because the facts were already so obvious. However, Su Qingsang's actions made some sense. Su Qingsang looked at him and nodded slightly, but then immediately shook her head. What happened? Hua Jinyao didn't understand what she meant. Do you want me to go with you or not? I want you to go with me, but I want to go alone. But I want to go alone. Su Qingsang thought about her own thoughts. Hua Jinyao, do you know? I want someone to share the burden, and I'll have to face the news later. I don't want to bear it alone. I might have something like that happen. In fact, the answer couldn't be more obvious now. There was a 99% chance that it might be Su Qinghui and Li Qianshue's child. Now she just needed to be sure. But when it came down to it, she didn't want to face that result. I'll go with you. Hua Jinyao held her hand. No matter what the result is, I'll be with you. Su Qingsang met his gaze and suddenly nodded heavily. Okay. She just wanted to find an answer. It didn't matter if it was the worst result or the best result. For her, no matter which result it was, she actually didn't want it to happen. However, she couldn't avoid the matter in front of her. After washing up, she called her classmates and finally went to the paternity test center. She got the 2 paternity test reports. One was for her and Su Qinghui, and the other was for her and Li Qianshue. If possible, she hoped that she wasn't Su Qinghui's daughter or Li Qianshue's daughter. If only she was an orphan. She could treat Kaiping as her biological mother. She could treat her as a favor from the Su family and the Li family. Hua Jinyao took the results from her hand. Su Qingsang didn't stop him. She watched Hua Jinyao open the results and read them. The first one was for her and Su Qinghui. He put the results in Su Qingsang's hand. Actually, you don't need to do this test at all. Because you look so much like Su Qinghui. Su Qingsang knew it herself. She was also anxious that day. She wished that she wasn't Su Qinghui's daughter. Hua Jinyao took out the other paternity test report. Su Qingsang's breathing slowed down. She stared at Hua Jinyao nervously, not wanting to miss any expression on his face. In the end, the test result was only a thin piece of paper. He looked up at Su Qingsang with a clear expression. Su Qingsang, the probability that you and Li Qianshue are mother and daughter is 99.9%. Su Qingsang had already guessed this result. At this time, she wasn't surprised at all. She reached out her hand to take the test report. He memorized every single word written on it. Hua Jinyao looked at her nervously. He didn't understand what she wanted to do now. What could Su Qingsang do? Su Qingsang didn't want to do anything now, and she couldn't do anything. She finished reading and carefully put away the test results. Finally, she raised her head to look at Hua Jinyao. My father is really a scumbag. Isn't that right? Hua Jinyao didn't expect that after waiting for a long time, she would say such a thing. He wanted to say something, but he felt that it was too useless to say anything. Wife? He's really a scumbag. Su Qingsang held the 2 test reports and sniffed, as if trying to relax herself. Tell me, why is he such a scumbag? Hua Jinyao looked at her and reached out to pull her into his arms. He gently patted her back. Do you want to get back at him? Su Qinghui hurt Su Qingsang. He had turned her into an illegitimate daughter. She could have been the daughter of a rich family. That wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that he caused Su Qingsang to lose the motherly love of more than 20 years. There were other things. In Hua Jinyao's opinion, Su Qinghui really went too far. Su Qingsang pressed her face against Hua Jinyao's chest and rubbed her little face against his chest. Hua Jinyao, I don't want to hate him. It's tiring to hate someone. But I don't want to forgive him just like this. I want to go back to Rong City, okay? Okay. Let's go to Rong City and bring my mother with us. Stay away from Su Qinghui and the Li family. The Li family, Li Qianxue, Su Qinghui. None of them had anything to do with her. I want to cut off contact with them. From now on, I'm just Su Qingsang. An illegitimate daughter without a father and only a mother. No. Hua Jinyao looked at her and suddenly reached out to pinch her little hand. You're still my wife. You're still my biological wife. As he spoke, he leaned over and kissed her on the cheek. Su Qingsang felt a faint warmth surging in her heart. The hurt that came from her biological father seemed to have faded a lot at this moment. Hua Jinyao. Thank you. You've said that before. Then Hua Jinyao, I like you. You've said that before too. Hua Jinyao deliberately teased her. Su Qingsang was at a loss for words. After thinking for a long time, she finally said, Hua Jinyao, I like you very much. I like you very much. She had never said that before, had she? Hua Jinyao kissed her cheek again with a faint smile on his face. I've never heard that before. You can say it a few more times next time. Su Qingsang couldn't help but want to laugh. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang wrapped her arms around his waist and said with a smile in her voice, It's so good to have you here. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything but hugged her tighter. Su Qingsang could let it go just like that, but Hua Jinyao didn't want to let it go just like that. There were some things he didn't do before because he didn't want to make Su Qingsang unhappy. But in this situation he had to do something. Tianyu Group had 3 projects with the Li Corporation last year. 2 of the 3 projects were supervised by Su Qinghui himself. So when Su Qinghui saw Hua Jinyao in his office in the past, he wasn't surprised. But today was different. Hua Jinyao looked a little different today. He thought of the conversation between Hua Jinyao and him in the study that day, which was overheard by Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue was so angry that she booked a plane ticket to the United States. She didn't care that it was the new year. It had been a few days now, but Li Qianxue hadn't called him even once. Other than calling old Master Li every day to tell him that he was safe, there was basically nothing else for him to do. Now when Su Qinghui saw Hua Jinyao, he still looked a little uncomfortable. It was really not a glorious thing to be seen arguing with his wife by his son-in-law. The new year is not over yet. Why is there something wrong as soon as you start work? Su Qinghui was the general manager, so it didn't matter even if he came a few days late. It was just that he didn't want to stay at home alone, facing his son's strange and inquisitive eyes, and facing old Master Li's seemingly blaming eyes. There is something wrong, Hua Jinyao said with a calm expression. What is it? Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qinghui. He really couldn't imagine that Su Qinghui, on the surface, didn't look like someone who would do such a thing. But who would know what was going on behind the scenes? Chapter 424. Su Qinghui was stunned. What did you say? Are you going to Rong City? Su Qinghui knew that Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao were going to Rong City sooner or later. He knew that Hua Jinyao was from Rong City and that they would leave Lin City sooner or later, but he didn't expect it to be so soon. When did that happen? Have you really made up your minds? We've already decided. He had been paying attention to Su Qinghui's facial expression as he spoke. Qingsang's mother has been in Rong City all these years. She also said that she was already used to the climate there. I want to go back. Su Qinghui was stunned to hear him mention Xiang Kaiping. Xiang Kaiping was also from Rong City. Did they decide to leave together? Qingsang has also made up her mind. You're coming with me. So I'm here to greet you. Hua Jinyao paused for a second. You're Qingsang's father, after all. We have to tell you that we're leaving Lin City. After all, if he really left, it wouldn't be so easy to see him in the future. The flight will take more than 2 hours. Su Qinghui said nothing. He had just finished arguing with Li Qianxue. For the sake of Su Qingsang's background. Now, Su Qingsang was leaving Rong City. Given her personality, she would probably not come back with Xiang Kaiping by her side. Even if she came back, she wouldn't come back often. This would make things easier for him, he thought. Because the relevant people were not in Lin City, it meant that no one would mention what happened back then. For some reason, Su Qinghui felt that the situation in front of him was not bad. Hua Jinyao looked into Su Qinghui's eyes. He didn't see any reluctance in his eyes. Instead, it seemed like he was relaxed. He looked at Su Qinghui very carefully. He had been looking at Su Qinghui until he saw that trace of relaxation. At first, he just wanted to vent his anger, but now, he wanted to do more for Su Qingsang. Dad seems to be very happy. Hua Jinyao stared at Su Qinghui's face, not missing any expression on his face. No matter what, Qingsang is your daughter. Now that she's leaving, you actually feel very relaxed and happy? Hua Jinyao looked rather relaxed. His voice was very soft, and his body seemed to be leaning back in the chair rather casually. However, his gaze was quite sharp. She stared straight at Su Qinghui's face as if she wanted to stare into his heart. What nonsense are you talking about? Su Qinghui cleared his throat and tried to hide the uneasiness in his heart. How am I very happy? Realizing that his tone was not quite right, Su Qinghui took a deep breath and said, I'm not unhappy. Qingsang is my daughter. Of course, I want her to be well. Now that she's married to you, then you'll be in charge of her future matters. If she wants to leave, I believe you will arrange everything for her. Rong City is bigger than Lin City. She'll definitely have a better future there. In that case, why should I be unhappy? Su Qinghui said a lot in one breath. But none of his words were on point. Hua Jinyao finally understood. He leaned to one side, one hand on the arm of the chair. He faced Su Qinghui with a lazy, sharp, contradictory attitude. You really have no reason to be unhappy. Because for you, Su Qingsang's leaving is a good thing. Su Qinghui was stunned for a moment. He didn't immediately understand what Hua Jinyao meant. He only thought that he was being sarcastic. What nonsense are you talking about? I'll say it again. Su Qingsang is my daughter. Of course, I want her to be well. Really? Hua Jinyao's eyes were sharp. You want her to be well, but you don't want her to be too well. The premise of you wanting her to be well is that you don't want her to be better than Su Peijian. Am I right, Dad? Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao. Su Qinghui was angered by his words and attitude. What are you doing now? Do you think that just because your Tianyu group helped our Li Corporation make some money and did a few projects, you have the right to tell me what to do? I don't dare to criticize you. Hua Jinyao spread his hands, and the smile on his face was a little innocent. Dad, you really hurt my heart by saying that. He used this method to deal with Su Qingsang to deal with Su Qinghui. The expression on his face seemed to be playful, but his eyes were clear. Su Qinghui listened to his nonsense today and felt more and more confused. If you have nothing else to say, you can leave first. I still have something to do. I won't keep you company. Don't be in a hurry. I haven't finished yet. Hua Jinyao's words and his smile made Su Qinghui feel uncomfortable. I'm thinking. The reason why you're happy is because if Su Qingsang isn't here, no one will appear in front of you all the time, and no one will make you unhappy because their limelight has overshadowed Su Peijian. More importantly, he looked at Su Qinghui's face and said word by word. If Su Qingsang is gone, the fact that she is not Xiang Caiping's daughter will really become a secret. No one will ever know. Su Qinghui had already heard this news the day before. He didn't want to hear it anymore. Hua Jinyao's next words caught Su Qinghui off guard. No one will know that she is Li Qianshue's biological daughter. Am I right? Su Qinghui stood up abruptly. He stared at Hua Jinyao as if he was looking at a monster. Are you crazy? Saying such words in front of him. If he wasn't crazy, then what was? What a coincidence. Hua Jinyao had a faint smile on his face. When I told Qing Sang my speculation a few days ago, she said exactly the same thing as you. Su Qinghui didn't catch the word speculation in his words. He only heard Hua Jinyao say that Su Qing Sang also knew. Hua Jinyao. Su Qinghui's chest rose and fell violently. He suppressed the shock in his heart. How could he let Su Qing Sang know? Absolutely not. He knew what the consequences would be if he admitted to this matter, so he would never admit it even if he was beaten to death. What on earth do you want to do? Who told you that Su Qing Sang is Li Qianshua's daughter? Let's not beat around the bush. Yes or no? You know very well. Hua Jinyao, I don't know. I don't know what you want to say. Anyway, get out of here now. I don't want to listen to your nonsense. Nonsense? Alright, he was going to talk nonsense to the end today. You asked me just now who told me. So, I'll tell you now. Who told me? Chapter 425. Su Qinghui watched him take out the 2 pieces of paper. At first glance, he couldn't see clearly what he was holding. But his intuition told him that it wouldn't be what he wanted to see. Dad, you might not know. Hua Jinyao opened the 2 pieces of paper and spread them out in front of Su Qinghui. Qing Sang took your hair and did a paternity test. Paternity test? Su Qinghui's eyes widened. Actually, there's no need to do it at all. Right? Hua Jinyao raised his eyebrows slightly and pushed the 2 pieces of paper towards Su Qinghui. Because you know very well whose child Qing Sang is. Su Qinghui didn't look at the paternity test report at all. His body was extremely stiff behind the desk, and his whole face was covered with a layer of green. What? Aren't you going to take a look? Hua Jinyao's body leaned forward slightly. His aura was completely unleashed, and he didn't restrain it at all. If an ordinary person faced his gaze, they would probably be the first to give the answer. But who was Su Qinghui? After a brief panic, he calmed down. He didn't even look at the 2 reports. Hua Jinyao, what do you want? Are you really not going to take a look? Hua Jinyao touched his chin. His sharp eyes stared straight at Su Qinghui's face. Hua Jinyao. Su Qinghui had completely calmed down. What do you want? What can I do? I don't want anything. Hua Jinyao stood up. He put his hands on the table, and his deep eyes didn't miss any expression on Su Qinghui's face. I just want to ask you, when you switched the 2 children, did you feel guilty? Since Su Qinghui had calmed down, he wouldn't be affected by Hua Jinyao anymore. Are you questioning me now? You can think of it that way. Hua Jinyao's expression didn't change. He was questioning him, so what? I'm really curious. For more than 20 years, you watched Li Qianxue spoil a daughter who wasn't her own, but ignore her own daughter every day. Aren't you very proud? Su Qinghui's expression changed slightly, but only for a moment. He didn't say anything. His eyes were extremely indifferent. Hua Jinyao, this is between me and her. It has nothing to do with you. Yes. This is between you and Li Qianxue. But it has something to do with Qing Sang. You let her carry the name of an illegitimate daughter for so many years. You let her miss out on motherly love for so many years. You even refused to give her even a little more care and love. Su Qinghui, do you think you deserve to be a father? Su Qinghui's expression changed again. He looked at Hua Jinyao and suddenly nodded heavily. His lips curled into a mocking smile. Are you here to vent her anger now? I wouldn't dare. Hua Jinyao's voice was even more sarcastic. No matter what, you are my father-in-law. I wouldn't dare to do anything to you. Then what do you mean by saying all these? Hua Jinyao stood straight. His tall body gave Su Qinghui enough pressure even though there was a desk between them. I don't mean anything. Hua Jinyao clenched his fists, and his heart was filled with great anger. That kind of anger even made him want to beat Su Qinghui up. But he resisted. He just looked at Su Qinghui. I just want to tell you that your secret is no longer a secret. I know it. Qing Sang knows it too. Su Qinghui didn't say a word. Hua Jinyao slightly leaned his head forward. As long as we want, we can tell the old master and Li Qianxue at any time about Qing Sang's real identity and whose daughter she is. Su Qinghui was still silent. Before, Xiang Kaiping appeared very suddenly. Su Qingsang knew that she wasn't Xiang Caiping's child. But none of that was as sudden as Hu Jinyao's appearance now. He really didn't think that one day his secret would be known by others. These things can't be hidden forever. The truth will always be revealed to the world one day. I just want to know, when that day really comes, how will you deal with yourself? Su Qinghui had impulsively wanted to take revenge on Li Qianxue. He chose that path. He thought that he could hide it from the world, but all the way to today, he didn't dare to think about what he would face when Su Qingsang's identity was discovered. Now that Hu Jinyao pointed it out directly, he didn't dare to think about it at all. In the beginning, he could still imagine the result of Li Qianxue knowing the answer, and the scene of him taking revenge and laughing at Li Qianxue. But the more he thought about it, the more he didn't dare to think about it. He couldn't imagine what kind of state Li Qianxue would be when she found out about it. In the face of such a question from Hu Jinyao, he could only force himself to be calm. That's my business. It's none of your business. Hu Jinyao wasn't surprised by his attitude at all. He didn't speak again, just looked at him coldly. The atmosphere in the office was quiet, and neither of them spoke. However, in the corridor outside the office, a figure stood there for a long time, his eyes full of shock. He was about to knock on the door and enter, but at this time, he completely stopped there. As if he was frightened, he quickly ran away without thinking. He ran very fast, as if a ghost was chasing behind him. In the office, Su Qinghui's imposing manner finally weakened. He sat on the chair weakly, lowered his head, and supported his forehead with one hand. I actually didn't want to, I really didn't want to. If it was impulsive at first, he only thought about revenge. In the end, it was already out of control. The further it went, the more he didn't dare to face it. He even deliberately made himself very bad to Su Qingsang and completely ignored her. He hoped that through this action, Li Qianxue wouldn't make things difficult for Su Qingsang. He knew that if he showed Su Qingsang any concern, even if it was only a little, it would make Li Qianxue unhappy. He couldn't give Su Qingsang the status of the Li family's granddaughter-in-law, the eldest daughter of the Su family. But he could let her live a relatively peaceful life. Later, she was admitted to university and moved out. Everything was actually developing in a good direction for him. This was good. She had her own life. She was kind, optimistic, and strong. If she lived a good life, Su Qinghui could also feel less guilty. Things had developed to this point, and it was no longer something Su Qinghui could control. He closed his eyes, and everything that had happened over the years flashed through his mind like a horse lantern. His voice came through his palm. It was so low that if there weren't only the two of them in the office, Hu Jinyao almost couldn't hear it clearly. Do you want to tell Qianxue now? Hu Jinyao looked at him and had a feeling that the Su Qinghui in front of him was a pitiful person. A pitiful person who was punished by hatred and impulsiveness. But he wouldn't sympathize with him. There must be something hateful about a pitiful person. Qingsang didn't let me say it. Su Qinghui slowly raised his head and looked at Hu Jinyao in shock. He didn't believe it. He didn't believe that Su Qingsang would give up her original identity. He didn't believe it. You don't believe it, do you? I don't believe it either. Hu Jinyao's voice was very cold. Thinking of that woman who looked cold but was actually a little silly, his heart ached a little. But this is really her decision. Do you know why? Su Qinghui didn't say anything. He looked at Hu Jinyao with confusion in his eyes. Because Qingsang said, she can't hurt Xiang Kaiping. Su Qinghui's body trembled, and his face had already turned pale. She spent a few months with Xiang Kaiping and really developed a mother-daughter relationship. He didn't dare to think about what would happen if Xiang Kaiping knew that it was her own daughter who had a conflict with her. And it was her own daughter who had almost caused her to be paralyzed. How would Xiang Kaiping face Su Peijian? How would she face Li Qianxue's daughter, who was supposed to be on the opposite side of her? Su Qinghui's thin lips were tightly pursed. He stood there, his body a little stiff. You probably haven't thought about it, have you? Hu Jinyao looked at him and sighed softly in his heart. One move of yours could drive two women crazy. Li Qianxue couldn't accept it, but how could Xiang Kaiping accept it? You probably don't know how good Xiang Kaiping is to Qingsang, do you? Hua Jinyao looked at him indifferently. He didn't mind telling him some facts that Su Qinghui didn't know. Do you know why she met Su Peijian last time? Because she wanted to buy wool for Qingsang and knit a scarf for her. You probably don't know yet, but she not only knit sweaters and scarves for Qingsang, but also made cured meat and sausages for Qingsang. She bought the jade Buddha pendant for Qingsang because she thought that Qingsang stayed in the hospital every day, so she wanted her to wear a jade Buddha pendant to comfort her. Stop it? Su Qinghui suddenly glared at Hua Jinyao. Stop it. He lowered his head again and covered his face with his hands. Hua Jinyao couldn't see his expression, but he didn't want to stay any longer. He looked at Su Qinghui with a calm expression. If Qingsang doesn't want to say it, I won't say it. But I really want you to know. A secret can't always be a secret. One day, the secret will be exposed. I have a feeling that even if we don't say it, I'm afraid your secret can't be hidden for long. Based on Li Qianshue's misunderstanding of Su Qinghui at that time, she would definitely do something in the future. At that time, could Su Qinghui's secret really be kept? Su Qinghui still didn't raise his head. He maintained that posture. He had been covering his face with his hands, so Hua Jinyao had no way of knowing his expression at that time. Thinking about it, he felt complicated and struggled. But he didn't want to sympathize with Su Qinghui. Compared to him, Li Qianxue and Xiang Kaiping were more pitiful and innocent. Of course, the most innocent was Su Qingsang. Thinking of Su Qingsang, Hua Jinyao didn't want to see Su Qinghui again. He turned and left. In fact, no matter how pitiful Li Qianxue and Xiang Kaiping were, it had nothing to do with him. He just felt sorry for that little woman. She was too sensible and too mature, which made him feel sorry for her. As for Su Qinghui, he knew that with what he said today, Su Qinghui would probably have a hard time in the near future. Chapter 426. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao went home. Today, she had asked Sister Lu to tidy up the place. I asked Sister Lu to tidy up Mom's room. Mom will be discharged in 2 days. When the time comes, we'll bring Mom home to take care of her. Hua Jinyao agreed. I wanted to live in your villa since it's bigger. It's also convenient for Mom to move around. Sure. Whatever you say. Also, Su Qingsang found that Hua Jinyao only listened to her and didn't say anything. What's wrong? Why are you only listening to me? Do you have any objections? You decide. Hua Jinyao pulled her to his side and sat down. These are all small things. You don't have to ask me. I'm not asking you. Su Qingsang turned to look at him. What's wrong with you today? Something doesn't seem right. Hua Jinyao shook his head and said, The Lantern Festival is coming. Do you want to go back to Rong City with me to see Grandpa? Let's make some arrangements and bring Mom over. Su Qingsang bit her lip. This matter had been decided a long time ago. She was not reluctant to part with it. Sure. I'll ask my mother. Then he asked Dr. Jiang. If he says it's okay, we'll take Mom back to Rong City. Hua Jinyao reached out and gently stroked the hair on her forehead. Let me know after you've asked the doctor. I'll arrange the rest. Su Qingsang had nothing to worry about. He had always been efficient and more thorough than her. Xiang Kaiping would probably agree with the decision to return to Rong City. However, Su Qingsang suddenly fell silent, and a complicated expression appeared on her face. What happened? Su Qingsang looked at him, her lips pressed into a straight line. You said before we left Lin City. Will she come back? Seeing the hesitation in her eyes, Hua Jinyao felt as if his heart had been pricked by a needle. He reached out and pulled her into his embrace, hugging her tightly. You want to see her? Su Qingsang's face was pressed against his chest, and she could smell the refreshing scent of his body. A little. If he went to Rong City, he probably wouldn't come back easily. I want to see her before I leave. Hua Jinyao didn't speak. She looked up at him and said, You don't think so? There's nothing you can't do. Hua Jinyao tightened his arms around her waist. If you really miss her that much, even if you want to fly to the United States to see her, let alone wait for her to come back. Su Qingsang lowered her head and seemed to be thinking. Forget it. It's better not to see him. You really can't see him? Su Qingsang shook her head. She must be in a bad mood recently. I'd better not provoke her. The last time Li Qianxue heard that Su Qinghui was cheating, she thought he was in love with someone else. He was probably in a bad mood right now. If she appeared again, it would undoubtedly provoke Li Qianxue even more. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang. She seemed to be cold and didn't care about anyone. Actually, he was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. As long as he got close to her and familiarized himself with her, he would understand. I told you. If you want to see him, you can see him. Don't worry too much. How about this? Su Qingsang thought for a moment and said, let's set a time to go to Rong City. If she comes back before then, I'll go see her. If she doesn't come back before then, she didn't say the rest of the sentence. If that was really the case, she and her mother were not meant to be. Hua Jinyao held her whole body in his arms, lowered his head, and kissed her cheek. His kiss was very light, like a feather falling on her cheek. Do you miss her very much? Not really. Su Qingsang shook her head with a smile. If I knew about this earlier, I'm afraid I wouldn't be as calm as I am now. But it's grown up now. And our mother is here. So I'm much calmer. Su Qingsang suddenly became serious and looked at Hua Jinyao with a serious face. Do you know? When I was young, I often saw her holding Su Peijian. Then she would talk to her in a very gentle tone. In fact, she was a very strict person outside. But she was very gentle to Su Peijian. So I thought that if I had a mother, she would be like that. Because of this, Su Qingsang kept trying to get close to Li Qianxue. But in the end, she failed. Hua Jinyao nodded and looked at her calm face. He felt that she was too calm. You still want to acknowledge her, don't you? No. Su Qingsang denied it. I don't want to acknowledge her. I just feel that if I can, I want to see her. I just want to see her. It could be considered as fulfilling a wish in his heart, although such a thought was a little ridiculous. Don't worry. I really just want to see her. I won't acknowledge her. Since she had made up her mind, she wouldn't regret it. But before that, she still needed some time and calmness to completely let it go. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything else. He hugged her tightly. His deep eyes narrowed slightly, as if he had made a decision. Su Qingsang didn't expect that she would meet another person before she went to see Li Qianxue. Since she was going to Rong City, she had to choose some gifts for old Master Hua and Hua Jinyao's great-uncle, who was already living in Rong City. Her two uncles and aunt had to prepare some gifts. Shi Mengwan had been shopping with Su Qingsang for a long time, and she had also been choosing gifts for a long time. Although it was said that it was good to be rich, it could be solved with money. But after listening to Su Qingsang's words, Shi Mengwan felt that there were many people in the Hua family. There are so many relatives in the Hua family. Little Qingsang, with your simple personality, can you really handle it? Even if I can't handle it, I have to. In fact, Su Qingsang was indeed most afraid of troublesome interpersonal relationships, but she met Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao is so good to me. It's only right for me to face his family for him. You have awareness. Shi Mengwan patted her shoulder heavily. But I think you don't seem to be in a good mood today. What's wrong? You want to separate from me? Can't bear to part with me? Yes, yes, yes. Su Qingsang nodded repeatedly and reached out to pinch her cheeks. You don't know how much I can't bear to part with you. Just talk, don't touch me. Shi Mengwan touched her face narcissistically. I just took care of my face yesterday. Let me see. Su Qingsang leaned over to look at her, and there was a hint of teasing in her tone. Your face is so smooth and your skin is so good. You still have to take care of it. You're not giving us a way out. Don't be ridiculous. You don't know the suffering of the hungry. You have Hua Jinyao. But I'm still single. I have to take good care of myself and make myself look more beautiful so that I can hook up with a tall, rich, and handsome man like you, right? No need to hook up. I'll ask Hua Jinyao to introduce a few to you. How about that? Okay. Shi Mengwan nodded with a casual expression. Su Qingsang didn't believe her. Why do I feel like it's fake? You don't believe me? If you don't believe me, I'll go find one later. Come on. Find one. You find one. Su Qingsang looked around and saw a man in front of her. His back looked a little familiar. That good figure. His front should be good too. Aren't you looking for one? Go. I'm not afraid of you. Shi Mengwan was provoked by her. She glared at her and quickly took 2 steps forward. She took out a red bill from her bag, turned around, and made a face at Su Qingsang. Then, she quickly took a few steps forward to block the handsome man in front of her. Sir, I'm sorry. Did you drop this money? The moment Shi Mengwan raised her head, her expression changed. She stood there, exuding a dejected aura. Su Qingsang sensed that something was wrong and quickly stepped forward. Meng, what's wrong? When she saw the man, Su Qingsang was also stunned. No wonder the handsome man in front of her looked familiar. It turned out to be Zhan Haoze. Mr. Zhan. Hello, Mrs. Hua. Zhan Haoze greeted Su Qingsang and glanced at Shi Mengwan. I'm sorry, I didn't drop this money. Really? Shi Mengwan bit her lip. She crumpled the money into a ball and held it in her palm. Then I'll ask someone else. Okay. Zhan Haoze responded and glanced at Su Qingsang. Mrs. Hua, are you shopping? Yes. Say hello to President Hua for me when you're free. I will. Thank you. Then, I have something else to do. I'll leave now. Go ahead. Su Qingsang felt that it was very stressful to be with someone like Zhan Haoze. After he left, she turned to look at Shi Mengwan. You're so lucky. She didn't try to strike up a conversation, but the moment she did, she ran into Zhan Haoze. Lucky? Shi Mengwan smiled mockingly. I think that I'm too unlucky. If she wasn't so unlucky, how could Zhan Haoze forget her? Mengwan, do you want to do something else? What? I think that you might have mistaken me for someone else. After all, you haven't seen each other for more than 10 years. Seeing the worry in Su Qingsang's eyes, Shi Mengwan pretended to be careless and waved her hand. Don't worry. I'm just saying. I've decided to give up. Really? Of course it's true. Shi Mengwan hooked her arm. All right, let's continue shopping. Buy gifts. Hua Jinyao has so many relatives. How many gifts do you need? Let's go. Su Qingsang was actually worried about Shi Mengwan. Shi Mengwan's situation was more complicated than hers. However, she also knew that it would be difficult to persuade her at the moment. She thought about it. Why not wait until she returned to Rong City and then invite Shi Mengwan to hang out? Then, she could let Hua Jinyao introduce a few young men to her. Maybe after Shi Mengwan met a few outstanding men, she would find that there were still many good men in the world. Let's go. I remember there's a good shop in front. Let's go and have a look. Shi Mengwan pulled Su Qingsang forward. Su Qingsang couldn't help but look at her, worried that she had really let go. Unexpectedly, Shi Mengwan pulled her too fast, and Su Qingsang was too focused on her. As a result, she accidentally bumped into a person who came out of the shop. Sorry. Su Qingsang hurriedly apologized. At the same time, she took a step back. Chapter 427. When Su Yusen saw Su Qingsang, he was obviously stunned. Almost subconsciously, he took a step to her side. Su Qingsang was also a little surprised. Su Yusen's movement happened to block the girl behind him. Because of his action, Su Qingsang couldn't help but take another look at the girl, and then found that she was not the Bai Jihan from before. Su Qingsang withdrew her gaze and didn't intend to meddle. Yusen? You're here shopping too? Su Yusen nodded and looked at Su Qingsang with a somewhat complicated expression. With your girlfriend? Did he mean that Bai Jihan was a thing of the past? Thinking of the woman who aborted a child for Su Yusen, Su Qingsang's gaze was a little subtle. She's not my girlfriend. Su Yusen explained quickly, completely ignoring the somewhat embarrassed face of the girl next to him. I just happened to meet her. Su Qingsang nodded. When she came just now, she really didn't see the two of them holding hands. Then you guys continue. Sister. Su Yusin saw that Su Qingsang was about to leave and couldn't help but call her. Su Qingsang turned her face to look at him and raised her eyebrows, as if she didn't understand why he called her. Well, Su Yusin looked at Su Qingsang with his lips crossed. He actually had a lot to ask her and a lot to say. But now, facing Su Qingsang's indifferent gaze, he couldn't say a word. After a day, he still hadn't digested the news he heard yesterday. The shocking news that made him dumbfounded. Su Peijian wasn't his sister, Su Qingsang was. When he heard the news outside Su Qinghui's door, he was completely stunned. He couldn't believe it and didn't dare to face it. He even ran away like he was escaping, but after leaving, he couldn't help but turn back. He wanted to question Su Qinghui, ask him why he did this, and why he could do this. But before he could ask clearly, he heard Hu Jinyao's words. He said that Su Qingsang didn't intend to recognize Li Qianxue at all. That news shocked him again. He couldn't understand why Su Qingsang refused to recognize them. Refused to recognize Li Qianxue. Even after he heard Hu Jinyao's explanation. She said that Su Qingsang didn't want to hurt Xiang Kaiping, but did that mean she didn't want to hurt Xiang Kaiping? However, when he calmed down and seriously considered Su Qingsang's position, he tragically found that they really didn't have the right to ask Su Qingsang to acknowledge them. Had Li Qianxue ever cared about Su Qingsang? Had Su Qinghui ever been nice to Su Qingsang? Not at all. Had he ever been nice to Su Qingsang since he was a kid? Still nothing. He used to dislike this sister from the bottom of his heart. He thought that as an illegitimate daughter, she brought shame to the Su family. More importantly, her existence made the feelings of discord between her parents. But in reality, she was admitted to Lin City's a university medical school at the age of 17. After he graduated, he took the postgraduate exam and was now an outstanding doctor. What about Su Peijian? He had the ability, but the things he did in the dark. He had attacked Su Qingsang over and over again. The difference in strength between the two was obvious. In the past, he could still say that Su Peijian had her own standpoint. But when he calmed down, he only felt ashamed. As an illegitimate daughter, who didn't have many resources and was neglected by her parents, she worked hard enough and was ambitious enough. Putting all of this aside, Su Qingsang's attitude towards her family since she was a child was clear. Even if they weren't close, there was enough respect. He didn't like her before because Su Qingsang's existence made Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue not get along. But now he knew that Su Qingsang was his sister. His biological sister. He couldn't tell what he was feeling. Yesterday, he wanted to rush to Su Qingsang and explain things to her. But halfway through the car, he chickened out again. He chickened out. Li Qianxue went to the United States to accompany Su Peijian. For more than 20 years, Li Qianxue really loved Su Peijian as her own daughter. If Li Qianxue knew, what would she do? Su Qingsang didn't dare to think about it, and neither did Su Yusin. But was he really not going to say it? He struggled for an entire night without an answer. Early in the morning, his eyes were dark. Old Master Li could also see that he was in a bad mood, so he asked him to go out for a walk and didn't have to accompany him at home. He went out and met this female classmate next to him on the way. This female classmate's father had business dealings with the Li Corporation. Due to their friendship, when the other party asked her to help choose a gift for someone, he didn't object. He didn't expect to meet Su Qingsang. He looked at Su Qingsang and fell into a state of sluggishness. Those thousands of suppressed words seemed to be unable to be suppressed at this time. He couldn't help but want to get close to her and talk to her. What's wrong? Su Qingsang looked at Su Yusin, her younger brother, with obvious concern in her eyes. What happened? Nothing. Su Yusin didn't know what he could say. My mother went to the United States. I know. Su Qingsang's heart skipped a beat. She didn't understand why he would mention Li Qianxue. What's wrong? She might not be back so early. I know. Su Qingsang had already thought about it. She might not be able to see Li Qianxue before she left. Now that it was confirmed, she was a little disappointed, but she could accept it. But why did Su Yusin say this to her out of the blue? Could it be that he knew something? Su Yusin took a step forward. He seemed to want to clarify, but the female classmate next to him stood up at this time. Yusin, is this your sister? Isn't your sister Peijin? The girl had attended the Su family's banquet, so she naturally knew Su Peijin. However, she didn't know much about Su Qingsang. Shut up. It's none of your business. Su Yusin heard this and glared at the girl. I have 2 sisters. Can't I? The girl was shocked by Su Yusin. Her face changed a little, and she was speechless for a moment. When Su Yusin looked at Su Qingsang again, his eyes were full of apology. Sister, I'm sorry. It's okay. Su Qingsang waved her hand. If there's nothing else, let's continue shopping. You guys go ahead. Su Yusin's lips moved. He wanted to speak a few times, but in the end he couldn't say a word. He could only watch as Su Qingsang left. The girl behind him still wanted to approach, but Su Yusin glared at her. He said, "Go shopping by yourself," and left. The girl was left there stomping her feet in anger. Qingsang, what's wrong with this cheap brother of yours? After they separated, Shi Mengwan whispered to Su Qingsang, "Why do I feel that he's acting weird today?" You can see that too? Su Qingsang could see that too. However, she didn't think that Su Yusin would know that secret. After all, Hu Jinyao couldn't tell Su Yusin, let alone Su Qinghui. Shi Mengwan thought of some things that Su Qingsang had told her before. Right, he specifically mentioned his mother. Do you think he hates you and Hu Jinyao for sending Su Peijin to the United States? No way. Su Yusin wasn't that kind of person. However, Su Qingsang wasn't sure. I really don't know. You may know a person's face, but you don't know his heart. Shi Mengwan was afraid that Su Qingsang valued family too much and wouldn't even know that she was tricked in the end. I think it's better for you to keep a distance from the Su family. Su Qingsang didn't say anything. Keep a distance from the Su family? In this situation, even if she didn't want to keep a distance, she couldn't. After all, she was afraid that if she really got too close to the Su family, she might be exposed. You won't be unhappy if I say this, will you? Why would I? Su Qingsang knew that Shi Mengwan was doing this for her own good, so she wouldn't be unhappy. However, as for her own background, she suddenly didn't know how to tell Shi Mengwan. Of course, she knew that Shi Mengwan could keep a secret. However, Shi Mengwan was also on good terms with Xiang Kaiping now, and she often visited her when she was free. If Shi Mengwan found out, it would be very difficult for her to guarantee that Shi Mengwan wouldn't give herself away in front of Xiang Kaiping. Let's go. Let's continue shopping. Let's not talk about it for now. Since she had decided to treat Xiang Kaiping as her own mother, there was no need to say anything else. Let's go. Florida, America. Li Qianxue saw that Su Peijin had returned, and there was finally a little smile on her face. You're back? Yes. Compared to her, Su Peijin's expression was much worse. In the past, when she was still in Lin City, the new year was a lively time. She could play with her friends and fly everywhere. But this year? She was trapped here by Su Qinghui, and he wouldn't let her leave. He even enrolled her in some so-called advanced course. This advanced course sounded nice. It was a business management advanced course for young people. However, the people in it were people who were about the same age as her father in Su Peijin's eyes. She didn't want to go there for a day, and she couldn't wait to go back to China. Mom. Su Peijin sat down next to Li Qianxue and hooked her arm. Can't I go home? I don't want to stay here anymore. Li Qianxue didn't want her daughter to stay here either. If she could, she would take her daughter away immediately. However, she didn't want to go home now either. She felt disgusted when she thought that Su Qinghui had another woman. Didn't your father say that you should study for 3 months? But I can't stay for a month. Besides, you don't know what they're talking about and I don't want to hear it at all. Su Peijin shook her arm and said coquettishly, Mom, just agree to go home, okay? Okay? Li Qianxue didn't speak. She really didn't want to go back, didn't want to see Su Qinghui's face. However, if she went back like this, she was afraid that Su Qinghui would quarrel with her again because of that woman. Su Peijin really felt wronged. I didn't do it on purpose. I also know that I was wrong. But Dad still won't let it go. Look, it's going to be the Lantern Festival in a few days. but I still have to spend the festival alone outside. I already said that I will accompany you. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.